Check, check, check.
Check, check.
And we are live here in Wagoner, Oklahoma. Senior night. Got a matchup here between Catoosa Indians and the Wagoner Bulldogs with a 4A3 matchup here. This is a Week 9 matchup. It's senior night, Matt.
It is senior night, a big night for most most people on this team. It looks like they have a huge amount of guys that are seniors. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 seniors tonight. That is crazy.
And this matchup here, when you look at Wagoner football and we've got, there we go, we got a little bit of break. Just kind of touch back and touch base. We're here in Wagoner, Oklahoma, 4A3 matchup between the Catoosa Indians and the number 4 ranked Wagoner Bulldogs, Matthew Edwards.
That's me.
The tradition and the history of this town's football team, led by Coach Dale Condit, is just insane.
Yes. Yeah, we covered on that a lot this weekend, just on our personal phones and talking about things. Am I selfish to say it might be one of the most, or going to be one of the most historic high schools out of Oklahoma?
They've especially with this class, you can go all the way back to the Lawrence Evans and the Kevin Petersons and the Drew Curleys and my roommate TJ Pons, and you just go all through the list of all these football players that have came out of this and out of this school. Malcolm Rodriguez, who's featured on
Hard Knocks,
the Detroit Lions. His younger brother's a senior, wearing the same number. Interesting enough, the current win streak, the longest in the country, active 11-man win streak for high school football is Bixby Spartans, about an hour north, at 58 games. The previous record at 47 games belonged to the Wagoner Bulldogs, and that was a state record that held. They've from 1945, 2005, 2010, 2011, 2014, 15, 16, 2020, all state championships.
Wow.
So it is a history here, and not to mention, they do have 3 losses on the schedule. But if you look at those 3 losses, they are to 5A number 1 Coweta. Their second loss was to 4A number 4 Grove. 5A number 4 Grove. And then the other loss was to 4A number 1 Cushing. They are battle tested. They lost by a possession to each team except for Cushing. Cushing came in and put something on Wagoner's scoreboard that you don't ever really see from this team, and that was a goose egg. They did lose 42-0. However, I would like to say that that's probably just a blip into what we've seen historically from the Wagoner Bulldogs.
Every good person has an off day. And another thing that, we see that 0. I thought it might have been maybe a typo. Because
I thought so too.
Listening to what you say about Wagoner and listening to the history of Wagoner, I never suspected that they would have lose by a goose egg.
Yes.
Even being beat not only by not only not scoring any points, but by 42 points. Wow.
They're usually beating people by that score. And the thing with Wagoner's, they've got just such explosive athletes. Every year they reload. For the past 15 years, this program has done nothing but win football games.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time that they have missed the playoffs. I think you would have to go back to probably the mid to early 2000s. Even, when they had that stretch where they went 3 straight years winning a state championship. So,
speaking of playoffs and state championships,
yes.
Let's look at the playoff board.
So if the season ended right now as we speak, Wagoner would have the number 2 seed. They would play Poto. They would host that first round playoff game against Poto, and then they would take the winner against Blanchard and Clinton.
Now, Blanchard, they're our hometown rival. Shout out to Dibble. I do it every week. I have a lot of buddies from Blanchard. Blanchard is a ball club. Now, this year hasn't been as well as the previous years. They ran 2 years in a row. 15 and 16 they won, or maybe it was 14 and 15. But 2 years in a row they were state champions.
Well, and so that's the picture that we've got now. Cushing would take the number 1 seed, and they would play Broken Bow. Oologah would play against Hilldale. Miami would play against Ada. Now, we'll switch and transition over to the Catoosa Indians, since they are the visiting team. They're not having the season that they wish they've had. We've got to see them all season. We've got to watch them play. They have actually gotten better every week. They've had some phase of football the previous week that was just, to be quite frank, not something that a fan would want to watch if you didn't have a kid a part of the program. But each week they have gotten better. And last time we saw them playing up there at Miami, that was a game that they were in until about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Man, and just like whenever Catoosa everything starts going downhill and falling off for them, it's the same thing. It's the turning over the balls and the unnecessary penalties.
Penalties and turnovers have definitely been their Achilles heel, and that's something that you're not going to see a whole lot of against this Wagoner team. They're a very disciplined football team, more so because of the leadership that high school legend Dale Condit here has gotten to lead, and he has established a culture, and you know it's good when the players in the locker room are coaching each other. So here we're going to take a quick peek at last week's scores at Week 8. This is Oklahoma football at the 4A3. Wagoner was on the road to McLean, but they actually hosted McLean. They beat them 56-6, and not only did they host them and they beat them, they fed them after the game.
Yeah,
so very good sportsmanship there.
We talked about that today at work, and just the sportsmanship that comes with that is it's humbling experience for everybody involved.
Yes. So last week, Skytook went to Catoosa. Catoosa got their first win of the season last week, home against Skytook, 34-13. I'm sure that place went wild.
Yes.
And that's kind of a little bit of a rivalry game. They're not too far apart from each other. Cushing went to Cleveland and just absolutely demolished them. 70-7.
That's 10%.
70-7. We'll just say that one again. That's the second time Cushing has put 70 on a scoreboard this year. And then Oologah and Miami. Oologah 18, Miami 22. Miami's offensive line, I'm sure, helping lead the way. And we are going to take a quick pause so we can pay our respects to the national anthem.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Beautiful scene here. We've got barbecue going. We've got this. We are here in a sold-out crowd.
Another sold-out crowd. It's everywhere we go, they go.
The people follow the show. It's nice to see, such a that was a very good national anthem there. Everybody just on a dime just happened to just kind of pause. So we want to thank all of the men and women who've served our country, and
Absolutely.
especially those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, given their life in the efforts of freedom. So we do want to thank you if you were part of any of the armed forces. Huge shout out. Can never repay you, especially to those who are not here for us to repay them. So very grateful, eternally happy that we've got such a great country. And now we were going to see all the seniors here in Wagoner make their way to the middle field.
Hey, thanks for your service, Carson.
Well, thank you for your service as well, Matt. And I tell you what, next to Verdigris, when Catoosa went to the road, at the time Verdigris was ranked number 1 in 3A.
Yeah.
I think a loss to Central Bristow brought him down to somewhere in the top 5. The fans, especially the student section here, compared to Vertigo, I think this student section just might be a little bit more rowdy. And I can tell you for a fact, a quick story, 2012, my senior year, we came to play Wagoner. And let me tell you how wild the student section is. And when I coached against them in 2016, it was no different. They had a life-size cutout of my face.
What?
With red tape over my eyes. And every time I got tackled, I would look over and I would see him just slapping the face that they cut out. So this is a very ornery student section. But you know what? When you've got the standards that Wagoner football has, I guess when you're a part of that tradition, it's something that you can be ultimately proud of.
Yeah, for sure.
But speaking of tradition, something that Coach Hood, the head coach at Catoosa, has said that he wanted to bring here was culture, and he wanted to change them not having a tradition. And I thought that was very interesting of him to say. He comes from UCO, and he is leading Catoosa in their second year, and he is looking to get a big win tonight to set these seniors out on a high note. So Catoosa will receive the ball, Wagoner will kick, and they will get the ball at the second half. And I'll tell you one thing, Matt. I'm sorry, I had that backwards. But I'll tell you one thing, Matt. Every time Catoosa so far this year, every single game that we have called, their first possession has ended in a turnover.
You know, they got to watch the turnovers. We say that every week. They got to watch the penalties. We got to say that. We say that every week. I feel like it's a repetitive thing for us. But Catoosa's coming off of a high note right now.
Absolutely.
You know, and there are no laws. Trust me, I almost studied law for a long time. I still kind of do it just to be a butt. You know, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's no laws that says Catoosa can't come out here and show out and beat number 2 Wagoner.
They're definitely going to take the fight to them. 2 different times this season, they've been a 30-point underdog. In each one of those games, they were fighting in the fourth quarter looking for a win. The game against Miami, they possibly, had they not had that controversial pass interference call, we might have been looking at a 2-6 team instead of a 1-7 team. But nonetheless, here are the Wagoner Bulldogs with the maroon helmets and the black jersey and pants. They're going to be taking on very, very smooth, the traditional all black. And when Wagoner wears that all black, they mean business. The away team, Catoosa Indians, in the green pants, the gray jerseys, white numbers, black helmets. And we are going to look at a very good football game tonight. And here are the current matchups. We're going to see Miami at Cleveland, Skytook at McLean, but however, due to unforeseen circumstances to the neighborhood around McLean, Skytook will actually be hosting that football game. Catoosa is here at Wagoner, the game that we are calling, and Oologah at Cushing. Cushing, number 1 in 4A, 8-0. They've already won the conference after last week, and Oologah is fighting. They have got to win out to get that last 4th playoff spot. For
sure. It's a beautiful night tonight. Let's look at the weather real quick before we get a kickoff. Looks like the start of the game and kickoff is going to be 61 degrees. Moving on to 8:30 at halftime, it's going to be 57. And then 9:30 at the end of the game, it's going to be 55. Looks like it's going to get a little chilly tonight. But, hey, I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is football weather.
Football weather, you know, absolutely.
And I always have something new I like about it. But the smoke over the football field, that's how you know it's football time.
It's always good when you've got a cool night and barbecue flying over the field, especially in this really nice-looking turf. And here is Catoosa. They're going to set to take the kick, and they are going to send that off, and it is going to be returned by number 20, Gabe Rodriguez, and he does a nice little spin move, and he will be brought down the 38-yard line. Rodriguez, the younger brother of Malcolm Rodriguez, starting linebacker for the Detroit Lions, the All-American linebacker from Oklahoma State University. It's just a long list of guys who have gone to the next level of football here in this program. We could do an entire halftime show on some of the guys that have came out of Wagoner. Catoosa looking for that guy themselves. So,
yeah, one thing I see about Catoosa is they have that same defensive line as they did 2 weeks ago. That big boy front, 4 down, 3. It's a 4-3.
The thing about Wagoner is they like to take shots deep, and they like to put a good, fast, physical athlete who is strong and runs tough in at quarterback. And they're going to let him follow a lead blocker right off the tight end. Something they've done for years and years, and it's never changed. They're a very disciplined team. When it comes to X's and O's, there's not a whole lot that has changed over the past couple of decades with Wagoner. But one thing that has changed is that defense. They are a little bit more aggressive than I've seen in years past. And here we go. We're going to get a pass over, swung to the right. He's going to be taken down for a 1-yard loss. This will bring up 3rd and long for the Wagoner Bulldogs.
Hey, that was good execution by number 4, Michael Barnett there for the Catoosa Indians. Did you see the way he broke down, got shoulder pad level, and just pushed through? You know, that's one thing I want to see Catoosa do tonight. And they've got to, the first time they get the chance to tackle somebody, wrap them up and tackle them instead of just throwing your arm at them. They're not NFL players quite yet.
Number 4, Cale Charbonneau, the quarterback, is a sophomore, 6 foot, 185. He has thrown for 1,073 yards. That's 16 total touchdowns on the year. A little screen pass, and Catoosa was waiting for that. Matt, one thing I've noticed on every single play, the offensive line for Wagoner has double-teamed somebody and pushed them back past the first down marker.
Yeah.
3 consecutive plays. But it brings up 4th and 8. They go backwards 2 times in a row.
That tackle was brought down by, he snuffed it out. Number 77, Avery Riley for Catoosa, snuffed that little play out. They must have been watching film. He's a sophomore.
And here we go. We're going to get a punt. Something Wagoner probably doesn't do a whole lot. And it's going to be sent in the sky by Whit Edwards, the 6'6", 200-pound junior who wears number 1. So Wagner's first play, Matt, 3 and out. First possession, they go 3 and out. Catoosa will take the ball, and like we've said, every time we've called a Catoosa game this year, which we've called 5, their first drive is ended in a turnover, whether it be fumbled or an interception.
Yeah, you know, and I don't know if you remember, but almost every time every start of the possession there was always a flag. They always started negative yards, it seemed like.
And Duggar in at quarterback, number 9, brings a player in motion, still wearing that wrist cast on his left wrist to a broken wrist, and he's thrown it around as a weapon, using it for stiff arms. And he's a very, very tough kid, very tough quarterback, a preseason top 100 player entering the state of Oklahoma. His younger brother, wearing number 2, the sophomore, in at wide receiver at the top of the field.
If you remember last week, he was my player to watch. I think I'm going to stick with Michael Barnett this week.
I am going to go with Duggar in at quarterback as my player to watch for Catoosa. They're going to need another good game at him at quarterback to stay into this contest. Take the snap, immediate pressure. He's going to roll out to his left before he takes a hit, goes out of bounds. Catoosa will lose a yard, and this brings up 3rd and 12.
You know, we kind of rushed into it due to the technical difficulties here at the stadium, but my player to watch for Catoosa tonight is number 4, Michael Barnett. Same reasons as always. I really have high hopes for this guy. I see the work he puts in, and he's just a humble dude, and I want it for him, I think sometimes more than he wants it for himself. My player to watch for Wagner's number 1, Whit Edwards.
So Wagoner offensively is averaging 199 yards rushing a game. They're only giving up, Matt, 25 yards rushing a game.
Oh.
He's going to get about 6 to 7 yards. Still going to bring up 4th and manageable, and they are going to send out the punt team. One thing about the punt team, though, Matt, they leave their starting quarterback in as a lead blocker, and every now and then they flexed him out. They've not ran the fake punt. I think they're going to at some point before the end of the year.
I can see it happening. Maybe against Cleveland next week. Probably not against this ferocious Wagoner team.
Wagner's only giving up 11 points per game defensively. They give up just a total of 148 yards. And there is the take. Just as we had called, he makes the catch, gets the first down. And there you go.
Dude, you've got to buy a lottery ticket. You know, we say that every week. Aiden Scrapper with the reception there.
And Duggar throws the pass, and they're going to take that down to the 45-yard line.
Wow.
Something we've been watching all year, and it hasn't happened, and there it is.
And you called it.
It's going to be 1st and 10. Catoosa's going to take the ball. They have not scored a whole lot of points this year, Matt. They've been shut out, 3 times?
Mm-hmm.
Catoosa's going to take one deep, sending it out, and it is almost brought in. The ground knocks it out of his hands.
Michael Blendowski, hey, that's your player.
That was, and here's the thing with Wagoner. They like to blitz, they like to play man coverage, they like to press. It just takes one move and a kid who's got just enough speed or enough of a stride to get down deep, and if the quarterback puts it in his breadbasket, something that Cushing did against Wagoner, you're going to be looking at a very long night for that secondary.
That was a beautiful pass by Duggar there.
So here we go, trips left. They're going to fake the handoff. They're going to throw the screen. It's intercepted, and it bobbles out of his hands. The linebacker catches it, and he's going to take it all the way to the house, and this is a touchdown. Wow.
Brylan Robertson. I don't know.
The senior, Braylon Robert, he catches the ball after number 1, Whit Edwards, gets the interception, takes about 2 steps, gets hit by a lineman. The ball flies out of his hands, and number 5, Braylon Robertson, takes it out of the air for a touchdown. So that is actually going to be listed as a fumble return for a touchdown for Braylon.
That the same thing happened this last weekend in the NFL. I don't remember the team exactly, but looks like it's going to be a quarterback keeper. Oh, met at the line. I don't think he got it.
And they're going to say he did not get it, that he was short. So this is going to be a 6-0 ball game. Coach Dale Condon is out there, and he is not happy. And here is a replay. This is called the swinging gate. And here's the interesting thing about the swinging gate. In that particular formation, the center is eligible to receive a pass.
It's like 6-man football.
Unbelievable.
That's a wild way to start the game.
We saw a fake punt, an interception, a fumble return for a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion no good within a 2-minute span of real time?
Yeah, that's...
Wow. It's got to be them shiny maroon helmets.
I'm telling you, they look smooth.
They look good. You know what else looks good? That trophy case that Wagoner has.
I imagine.
Unbelievable. And
another thing, to go back to the play that we just saw where he scored there, number 1 is the one that intercepted it initially.
Yes.
Whit Edwards.
Whit Edwards, the 6'6", 200-pound receiver who's also their punter, intercepts the ball, gets hit by a lineman, the ball comes out, and then number 5, the tailback, the senior, Braylon Robertson, plucks it out of the air and takes it for about 60 yards for a touchdown. So number 4, Michael Barnett's going to bobble the kick return. He's got a little bit of open seam, and he is sent into the air. Does not land the front flip. Hits on his back. Catoosa will take over the ball. Their second possession. And they're going to be going into the wind.
A turnover again.
All right, and we've got a trips. That looks like an ace formation. They brought in 2 tight ends, and Lindowski takes a shot. One thing, Matt, that I want to bring out is the offensive line for Catoosa has gotten better each game. They've gotten more physical, very noticeably. They've gotten more physical. However, they're going to need their best physical game tonight because these linebackers and the defensive line for Wagoner for years and years and years have been taught only one thing, and that is hit whoever's in front of you over and over and over until they no longer want to play football against you. They've got very good position coaches, and if you look at this play right here, you notice how they brought the slot in the 2 tight ends. Wagner's going to start blitzing. Almost brought in by one hand. That interception would have given Wagoner the ball back, and that was number 3, Matson Swanson, the sophomore.
Well, I like that name, Matson.
Matson Swanson. That's a good name. Good, strong celebrity name. And here we go. 3rd down and 10. We're going to get shotgun twins set, ball near the right hash.
I'm going to call it
running back to Duggar's right. Look for the play action in the out route, maybe the post on the top of the screen. And they're going to run that middle screen, and it is was that intercept? No, it was incomplete. It's going to bring up 4th down. Catoosa will send the punt team out, and we are going to get a punt return by Gabe Rodriguez, number 20, the 5'9", 170-pound senior. And do not let that height and weight fool you. He is a little dynamite. And they're going to play it safe. As you can see, he's not entirely committed to returning the punt. They're going to make sure they get it off first. He's got a player down there waiting, and he is not going to return. He's going to let it bounce. Wagoner will get possession on the 34-yard line. We are going to go to a quick break to hear a word from our corporate sponsors.
In 1851, the Cherokee ignited the lamp of learning in the wilderness. For more than a century, this has been a gathering place where minds are developed and lifelong relationships are made, where dreams find direction. The lamp burns brightly still at Northeastern State University.
And we are back. Wagner, Gabe Rodriguez takes the ball, tries to go outside, can't, breaks tackles, and he's going to be brought down for about a 5-yard loss, something that Catoosa has been very good at over the past 2 weeks, which was their Achilles heel at the beginning of the season, was missing tackles. The last 2 weeks, they've been doing a lot better getting those tackles, specifically the tackles for loss. That could have been a no gain, and instead it's a 7-yard gain. And here we go. Wagner's going to take the ball at the right hash. They're going to send twins up top, shotgun formation. They're going to hand the ball off to Gabe. No, he's going to fake it. He's going to roll out, and he's going to send it over to number 3, Matson Swanson, who catches it on the flood route. And that was good for a first down. And that was a good fake by number 4, Kale. We're going to say Charbonneau. We're just going to hope that one sticks. Charbonneau, also the starting middle linebacker for Wagner. So when you get your quarterback to start linebacker and he's a sophomore, whew, that's always good, no matter what class of football that you are playing. And here we go. He's going to be in a shotgun. Twins to the right, running back to his left, H-back to his left. They're going to pull him and the guard. They're going to fake it, and he's going to run right up A-gap for a first down as he just runs everybody over. That's going to be a 15-yard gain for the Bulldogs. And we've got a player for Catoosa limping. The ref is not sitting on the sidelines. He's going to see if he's all right. And that is number 25.
Another thing you see, number 52, my guy, Juan Leon. Oh, I lied. Gunnar Wilson.
Gunnar Wilson, state champion wrestler from Catoosa.
There's no stopping that guy, but he looks a little tired out there, man.
Looks like he's limping already. And these safeties in these corners for Catoosa, they're giving them a lot of cushion. I think they are really scared of that deep ball, and they're going to give them everything short.
So that was Whit Edwards with the reception number 1, the sophomore for Wagner. He's coming in this year. He's only 1 for 1 with 24 yards. I don't know if these statistics are completely correct, but
so this one says he's got with that catch 18 catches. That'd be 165 yards now. He's got 1 receiving touchdown on the year, so 1 total touchdown. And number 3, Matson Swanson takes it in for the touchdown. Lights going out. Ambulance showing the brights. This is a 12-0 ball game, and we've got a player down. He is not moving. He took a shot.
Let's just cut to something else. It would behoove Wagner to maybe not do the whole light show anymore because of the technical difficulties we had prior to starting the broadcast.
Was a little tough getting everything up, but with the new facilities that Wagner will be receiving next year, I'm excited to see what they're going to have. The tradition here and the history certainly warrants that. So we've got some scores here for you that we're going to go over. Number 1, Cushing hosting Oologah. They were up 7-0 in the first quarter. Miami 7 at Cleveland 0. That is also in the first quarter. And we are going to take a very interesting look over here at Mustangs Junior Varsity 36, Chickasha 50.
It's pronounced Chickasha.
Chickasha.
Not to correct you.
All right, and it's always nice to see players walking off on their own strength. However, that is the freshman linebacker for Catoosa, number 25, Avon Robbins. A pretty impactful freshman for that team and is not good. I think he's actually their leading tackler, if I'm not mistaken.
It wouldn't surprise me, between him and Gunnar Wilson.
Yeah. So here we go. Wagner is going to kick the point after. It is up. It is good, and so is the extra point. That's going to make a 13-0 ball game. with
Wow.
3:59 left in the first quarter. So we are going to go to a quick break, and we will come right back just in time for kickoff.
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. Spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes, ripping out pages. I'm going through changes now.
And we are back here in Wagoner, Oklahoma. The kick is up, and it hits the ground. Two players are fighting for it. Lewandowski ends up taking it. He's going to go towards his sidelines. And once again, flipped up into the air. Feet does a high five. Face first into the turf. So two pretty decent hits in the legs of the kick returners.
Yeah, you warned us pregame that this is a hard-hitting team, and they have felt nowhere short of what you've said.
And not only that, they're such a good tackling team. They're going to hit you, but their tackles, their normal tackles, look like they're hitting hard. So Catoosa in the 5 set. This is called the empty set. Shotgun, 3 receivers to Duggar's left, 2 to his right. Nobody in motion. Takes the quick snap, and it is off the linebacker's hands. Goes up in the air. That's lucky the safety didn't come over and grab it. That is an incompletion thanks to Cale Charbonneau. And here's a replay. Just a quick little hitch route. The middle linebacker reading his eyes. He would know where the ball's going. He's also the quarterback for Wagoner.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing.
Lewandowski to Duggar's left. 3 receivers to his left. Trips to the left. Tight end to his right. That guard's going to pull right there. And there it is. Takes the snap.
Ooh.
Throws it. Tanner Casey was not ready on the seam for the slot. That was a good little play call, Matt. If he had kept his feet underneath him just a second longer, it might have been a first down. They pulled the guard and the tackle. The guard to the tight end side and the tackle away.
Yeah, I was just about to say
Very
that.
different than what you've seen. It brought the linebackers in, and that slot was open on that streak. So that is one thing Catoosa does. They will pull a guard and a tackle or offsetting guard and tackles. They do a lot of weird things when they pull with their offensive linemen. Very often you'll see them pull 2 linemen at the same time. All right, they're going to do shotgun set again, what they do 97% of the time on offense. Duggar's going to want to look to throw it, and instead he's going to get body slammed for a 1-yard loss. Ref reaches for a flag, instead lets it stay in his pocket.
In the NFL, that's a flag.
That's a flag, and
That's
not
a
only a
flag
flag
and a fine.
and a $15,000 fine. And here is the
Pocket
replay.
change.
Yeah, you can't do that against Wagoner. Too many athletes. I'm pretty sure their defensive tackles are just as fast as your tight ends.
Yeah, the number 12 is who I saw that showed himself really good on this the last play for Wagoner.
And they're sending the house on this punt. And he gets it off just enough for Rodriguez to take it at the 45. He's got him a seam. He's going to take it to the end. A good stiff arm. And he is out at the 30-yard line. And here comes a flag for a block in the back. And that is going to go back 15 yards on Wagoner. And that is unfortunate. That would have put them inside the 30-yard line. Instead, they're going to take a 15-yard penalty. White hat looks like he may have been prior service with that knife hand he just gave.
Yeah, it's going to be a flag on Wagoner for cheating. Sorry, I had to take it this time. You cannot block in the back, and you cannot take a quarterback down like that.
Yes. Well, that is going to take the ball down back to the 44-yard line. So Wagoner will have 44 yards to go to score. There's 2:54 left in the first quarter. They're up 13-0. Wagoner got twins receivers to the right. They're going to fake the ball. Rodriguez is going to take it for about a 1-yard gain. That is the 3rd time they've ran that specific play, Matt, and all 3 times it's been either a no-yard gain or a 0-yard gain. So they've either lost yards or gotten nothing. They're going to give them the yard.
I want you to watch number 56, Boomer Lovins for the Catoosa Indians here. Watch his physicality in this next play.
Number 56, Boomer Lovins, the starting defensive end, the backup quarterback, second in the team in passing yards, tied for second in touchdowns, 0. He had to play an entire game at quarterback against Tulsa Edison just 6 weeks ago. So here's the snap. It is low. Number 4, Cale Chilbernell throws it to the out route. And that is a 1-yard loss. Caught by number 20, Gabe Rodriguez, the senior.
Beautiful open field tackle by number 2, Dylan Duggar.
Something that he is not afraid to do. He's actually one of the better tacklers on that Catoosa defense. Very risky. Kind of gives you that big play type corner. However, with that, sometimes puts him in a spotlight. If he misses that tackle or doesn't cover that route, it's a touchdown. So he makes a lot of plays. He takes a lot of risks. So it's something that you like to see in a young sophomore at corner. Shotgun set guy comes in motion. And that's going to be number 2, Braden Skeen, the 6', 155-pound senior. And that is enough to move the chains. Wagoner will get a first down. Ball on the 35-yard line.
That's the first down we've seen all night. Oh, I lied. Catoosa had the first on the fake punt there. But this is Wagner's first down, And even though it's 13-0 in almost the end of the first half or first quarter, I did not expect to see it this good of a game so far.
And that Catoosa defensive line has got their hands on their hips. They looked a little tired, due in large part to the aggressive blocking scheme. Someone's getting double teamed on every play. And look at Rodriguez, just a massive stiff arm, high steps, out of bounds. That is his 3rd stiff arm of this first quarter. And 3 different times, Gabe Rodriguez, the 5'9", 170-pound senior, has thrown someone on their back.
Yeah, that's a little ball of muscle.
And it must run in that Rodriguez family. The older brother Malcolm, as we've said before, is linebacker for the Detroit Lions, All-American linebacker for Oklahoma State, drafted, and he's having a good season. He's starting for him.
And the reason why we're wearing cowboy hats to the broadcast.
This is why we wore our cowboy hats. And I also want to point out one thing with this Wagoner team as well. If you've look at all them offensive linemen right there. They get down, they don't move, they don't look around, they don't do nothing. They just get set. And that ball is thrown to number 1, Whit Edwards. And why not throw the fade route to him, Matt? He's a 6'6", 200-pound wide receiver.
Covered by Dylan Duggar, who we don't have his height, but
He's
I'm going to tell you
aggressive.
right now, he's not anywhere near 6 foot.
He's
a little bit shorter than me, and I'm 5'10".
But he is one of the most aggressive corners that I have seen in a long time. I mean, he's out there. Sometimes it looks like he's throwing punches when they're running. He attacks the hip aggressively. He plays the hands. He's smart. He knows where you're wanting to go to run to jump. And we're going to get a player in motion. They're going to hand it off, and that looks like a trap play, and it is going to go for about 2 to 3 yards.
This number 12, right, for Wagoner, his name is Alex
Shieldknight. Great name.
With a name like
Amazing
Shieldknight.
name.
All right, so he plays tight end, I believe.
Yes.
Right? So he plays tight end and also defensive line, so I'm going to guess a defensive end. This guy, him and Boomer Lovins, we've had problems with Boomer Lovins in the past with the extracurricular activities at the end of the play, but all night tonight they have been going to town on each other. So, again, I want to point out for the viewers watching at home, watch the edge. Watch Boomer Lovins and Alex Shieldknight go at it. You want to talk about war in the trench? Those two tonight is the prime definition thus far.
That's going to be the battle of the night and battle of the names here tonight. And this is going to take us to the second quarter. Wagner's up 13-0. I saw every single person from the Tulsa world picked Wagoner to win comfortably. And it seemed to me almost like no one they just kind of dismissed Catoosa altogether. Due in large part to the 1-7 start. Not ideal what you want, especially coming off of a playoff appearance last year. But Catoosa's only scored 103 points this year. And, Matt, they've given up 334. Wagoner has only given up 106 points, and that is including the 42-point loss to number 1 Cushing. Wow. It's incredible. Incredible stuff. Here we go. We're going to get in the shot. It looks like they nickname it the shot wing. You get a wing set and your player's in shotgun. They're going to hand it off to Gabe Rodriguez, who makes a cut, and he is going to find himself into the end zone for 6 points.
Wow.
And for those who are new to football, when you cross that white line that leads to the black turf, that's called a touchdown. That gives you 6 points. And they're going to bring him in motion. You can see he's the wing. He's just slotted right off the tight end. They bring him in motion to the right. He takes the handoff, and he's got all those lead blockers. The idea and the golden, what I would call the golden goose, what you want to happen on that play is you want him to either shoot off out of like a slingshot and just cut the corner, or you want him to cut back because the linebackers overflowed.
I see, yeah. Great knowledge brought to you by Carson Smallwood.
I wear sunglasses at night.
I was just about to say that, who oddly wears sunglasses at night.
And we're going to take a quick look over our sister broadcast. And we're going to see the Shiloh Christian Tigers with 6 points. I'm sorry, the Shiloh Christian Saints with 7 points. And Prairie Grove Tigers with 6. They're in the second quarter. That is at our sister network. And then we're also going to go over, and we're going to see Green Forest 14, Huntsville 13. These games are taking place in Arkansas. Matthew, fun fact, played in college with a guy who was a quarterback from Prairie Grove and had an arm. Never got to play, but man, he had a cannon.
Yeah, they're raised different there in Arkansas. I don't know much about it.
Big boys. Very tall. They're more so tall over there, but they're very physical. Some of the best offensive linemen I've got to play with in college actually came from Arkansas, especially the centers. Man, very good offensive lineman from the state of Arkansas. So this kick is sent into the end zone. That's going to be a touchback. Well, wait a minute. And there it goes, finally into the end zone. Wagner was rushing down there. They wanted to jump on that ball.
That was close.
That was a very, very close play. That could have been Wagner football on the 1 yard line had that thing just kept going sideways.
Yeah. You know, I'm just at a loss of words. I don't know what I just saw, actually.
It went backwards and then forward and then just stuck sideways.
You see a very well-disciplined team running to the ball.
Never stop sprinting.
But Catoosa just sat there like, we're going to wait for this to go back into the touchback. But
very young team. It's so far this year, it's been hard to see where their veteran leadership is. We thought it may have been number 4, Michael Barnett. It seems to be Duggar coming back from the injury.
Throw a flag.
Anytime you've got a quarterback out there with a broken wrist on his non-throwing hand and he's using it to throw stiff arms and he's diving head first for fumbles and scrimmages, I'd go to bat for that quarterback any time of the day.
Absolutely.
So that pass falls incomplete. So we'll bring up second and long. Catoosa has not had a good year offensively. However, they did have 34 points last week, and the week before they did 28 against Miami. They were throwing that ball deep, but they're playing against an entirely different front seven in Wagner than they were against Miami in the Skytook. So brings up second and long. They're going to fake the handoff, and he is just obliterated in that backfield.
By Alex Shield Knight.
Alex Shield Knight, you called it.
I told you.
The tight end and defensive end for Wagner, the sophomore. Here's a replay, and as you can see, Whit Edwards took off, and he was back there, made Duggar cut up. And where he was lined up, Matt, that is called the apex position on defense. When you're halfway in between the slot and the tackle, or even the tight end, it's called apex. And so he's either running a zone defense on that, or he's going to come straight off the edge hot looking for the sack. And as you can see here,
great blocks.
The screen is caught. He makes a cut, and he's going to take that about 9 yards to make this 4th and 9. And here is the replay here. You can see they love that middle screen, Matt. That's one of the few plays that they can consistently run and get positive yardages on almost every single time. They even did that against Cushing, had a little bit of success. They love that middle screen, I think due in large part because of how athletic that center is.
That's a big hit. That was a high punt.
Almost blocked. High end. It's going to take a bounce. Rodriguez was expecting that ball to come up higher, and if it did, he was going to take that, and he had this entire third of the field on the hair sidelines looking open. So we're going to go take a quick look at some more scores. Clinton up 14-0 over Cat. Look at that Skytook McLean game, 7-0. That is a game that Skytook definitely wants to win. McLean does not because they are still in playoff contention. Oologah 0, Cushing 14, Tuttle 7, Newcastle 13 looking for the upset. And Miami 21, Cleveland 0 still in the first quarter.
One thing I will say about McLean, Jonte Timms, their quarterback, that guy is wicked good.
Stud.
Sophomore.
Home of Josh Jacobs, starting running back for the Oakland Raiders. And they're going to throw that pass right over the tight end's head. Looked like he was getting mugged. No flag thrown. This will bring up 2nd and 10.
That was number 51, Jaden Slayer. I don't know if you guys got to see it on the broadcast, but, I mean, when I say annihilated a quarterback, he destroyed him.
Yikes.
And it was, these refs are kind of letting them play. It wasn't as late as you would anticipate, but it was a dang good hit.
So this brings up 2nd and 10. This is probably the second or third time tonight so far we've seen Wagner's first play not go for positive yards.
Yeah.
You see this formation here? They're going to bring that H-back across, and he's going to fake it or give it, and they're going to run right up the middle. And there it is. Gabe Rodriguez takes it out to the side. He's got an opening, shoots out of a slingshot, good enough for first down. There is a flag thrown. And that ref is a little sassy. He threw that flag. He threw that flag with some emphasis. And we're going to see what this play is. They're going to call holding against Wagner. That ball is going to come back. They will not get the first down. And we were expecting just a little bit of inclement weather. There's so much smoke coming over from the barbecue stand. You actually see the rain just
Falling
almost
through
ground
the
level,
smoke.
just falling through. So this is going to bring up 2nd and 15. Wagner's going to come out in the shotgun set. Sophomore, number 4, Kale, is going to be in. He's going to send number 3, Mattson Swanson, in motion. And he's going to shoot the ball over number 20, Gabe Rodriguez. It's good about 10 yards. It's going to make it 3rd and 5.
Another thing you guys didn't see there, Gunnar Wilson attacking the quarterback here. He just doesn't give up. The dude just has a motor that runs for days.
The one consistent thing Catoosa has had all year is they've had Gunnar Wilson playing to the whistle on every snap, regardless of the score. We've seen it consistently, and I think that's the wrestler's mentality. He actually missed a game because he was at a national wrestling tournament. He's a sophomore, and he's already getting looked at by colleges to wrestle. That's been a strong point, is that defensive end on both sides for Catoosa and the corner play by Duggar. And outside of that, really, they've struggled all year.
There it is. There's a flag on the play.
And that looks like that's going to be a late hit, and there it is. He just kind of flicks that flag up in the air. He definitely plays basketball.
It's going to be – there's another flag down here for
going to offset,
massive holding.
So they're going to call holding on Wagner. They're going to get the personal foul, the late hit on Catoosa. This is going to offset. They're going to probably repeat 3rd down.
Look, they're cheating. They're talking to the ref.
They are home. I remember when this field was grass, and when they put this new turf in, they did something a little bit different than most schools. They actually added a layer of turf underneath this turf.
That sounds bougie.
It is so soft, so easy to run on. It actually feels like you are running on grass. White Hat making the call. So they are going to bring this. There you go.
I was so confused.
So what happened was the play, he was hitting the sidelines. That was after the play. They're going to give him the first down, but they're going to bring it back 10 yards from where he was tackled. So they're going to get the first down, but instead of having the first down at the 30, they got the first down at the 40.
I see. I was just so confused because I've never seen a ref go back and then forward. I figured you would just add 5 from where the ball's at.
And here we go. Wagner's going to get into that's called an ace formation when you got 2 tight ends. They're going to throw a little screen over to the receiver. He's going to make a cut, and he's got the blocking. Oh, a great tackle by the freshman, number 25, Avon Robbins. Good to see him back.
Yeah, good to see him back.
He was laying on the ground when he made that tackle.
That's wild.
And you can see the replay here. There he is. He's on his knees on the ground, and he just shoots from his knees, puts his shoulder in the hip. That is a rugby tackle right there. Nonetheless, it's good enough for a first down. Wagoner will retain possession. Move the chains. They're up 20-0 with 8:30 and some change left in the second quarter. And they're just going to stick to their bread and butter. They're going to run off edge, and that's something Catoosa has struggled with all season long. You want to run the ball against Catoosa, you do one of two things. You run the option or you run right off the edge. And here's a replay. Misses a tackle in the backfield. There's no one out there waiting on him.
Turns on them jets and slingshots.
He was out.
So 8 minutes, 14 seconds left in the half. You know, Wagoner knocking on the door to score again, get the score to be 26-0. What are you calling the play here, Carson?
Well, they're definitely going to run. You can see Gabe Rodriguez out there to the left. I think they're going to run a little rollout pass, I believe. No, there's the quarterback run. They're going to run it right off the edge. He's going to make a cut and run pretty much everybody over. He's in for a touchdown. This is a 26-0 game. Lights are going in and out. I promise you they did pay their utility bill. 7:47 left in the second quarter, and they're down 26-0, Matt. They were a 35-point underdog coming into this game.
Look at this replay and watch the communication given by the sophomore.
He is a sophomore. He just put his hand on his back to guide him, something that a lot of running backs do when they follow that pulling guard. And we're going to get the point after here. Number 18, Ethan Muhlenweg, the senior. Kick is up, kick is good. This is 27-0, and we are going to go to a quick break to hear a word from our corporate sponsor.
The College of Education at Northeastern State University prepares educators, mental health providers, and fitness or health professionals with undergraduate and graduate programs. Choose from degrees in elementary, secondary education, special education, health and human performance, psychology, and more. Be ready from day one at Northeastern State University.
And we are back here in the Friday night edition of the Southern Sports Network. Apologize. I was reading that guy's hoodie that said the sports animal down there.
Dude, that's a 90s retro. Dude, I need that.
They've got some cool windbreakers here. One thing about this Wagoner is they love their culture of football, and I'm willing to bet there's probably 40, 50, maybe 60 people in the stands that don't even have kids playing. They just played here years ago, and they just loving the success. So number 4, Michael Barnett for Catoosa takes the kick, runs into a wall, kicks it out to the edge. He's got space, he's got room, and he's going to take this a great kick return from the 5 down to the 30. They might be a little generous. Let's see where they spotted. And they're actually going to take some yards away. Nope, they're going to put the ball in the 30. That's just a change. So, yeah, he takes that from the 2 or 3 yard line, and that's the play that you need. If you want some success, you're going to have to win the special teams battle. There's three phases to every football game. That's offense, defense, special teams. Something that Catoosa struggled mightily all year is all 3 phases. Here we go, shotgun formation, tight end to the left, running back to the left, twins to Duggar's right. They're going to pull the guard to tackle. He's going to just run for his life. Pump fakes it, and he's going to throw this out of bounds. Bounces off of a Wagoner player's head. Did that go past the line of scrimmage, Matt?
It sure definitely did go past the line of scrimmage. Looking for an offensive lineman, number 76, for Wagoner to catch the ball, but he did not.
No, instead his face did. And this will be a 2nd and 10 for Catoosa.
We're having some slippery ball problems.
Matt, would you like to know how many yards of offense Catoosa has so far tonight?
36.
21.
Well, I was close.
You know how many yards Wagoner gives up total per game?
What is that?
148. So that number is going to go lower after tonight.
There's negative yards if you can take off some.
And the reason I say that is because Wagoner, I've noticed the last 2 possessions on defense have just found something that they like, and they are starting to pinch that interior D-line, and they are sending a linebacker. He is looping, so your middle linebacker on the right side, and I'll walk you through it when they get set here so you can see it. They're actually running a 3-4 defense here. And one of these interior linebackers, they're going to loop when they blitz. And anytime they're not in this empty, he's going to throw it deep. He's got a guy open. And instead, it's going to be intercepted by number 3, Mattson Swanson, the sophomore. You got some pushing and shoving. A flag is up.
You got to be smarter than that.
Not
Catoosa.
good, but what I was saying is when they got into a situation where they had a running back and an H-back or 2 tight ends, or they were kind of bunched in, they were pinching that D-line, and one of the linebackers was just looping around to the other side. On the opposite side, they had to contain. You just got to kind of pick your poison at that point if you're running for your life at quarterback. So
once again, the script never changes. We have a turnover and a penalty for unnecessary roughness. It sounds like we have some dads in the stands yelling. I don't know. It's starting to get a
lot of
weird.
emotion here in this sold-out crowd in front of thousands.
This is wild. Why I don't understand why you're a father. You don't play football anymore, bud. Chill out.
Must play semi-pro. And here we go. Shotgun set. Number 20, Gabe Rodriguez comes in motion. Kale Sharpner is going to keep it and go up the A-gap. Makes a cut, almost breaks the tackle. That's going to be good enough for about 5 or 6 yards. Makes it second down. The rain is still coming down at not hard, but more of a good sprinkle.
Good little drizzle.
Just enough for you to kind of enjoy.
It does seem like it's making the ball a little bit slippery out there because you've seen Catoosa's situation just happen, and also number 4 had, like, it was a weird snap for Wagoner. It looks like it's going to be a screen to the outside.
And that is your man, number 12,
Alex Shield Knight.
They're giving him some love tonight. One thing I wanted to touch on with Wagoner, offensively, they're only averaging 35.8 points per game, and I think that's due in large part to the 42-0 loss to 4A number 1 Cushing and the 9-7 loss to 5A number 1 Coweta, which they were winning that game with a few minutes left. But they've scored 66 against Skytook, 56 against Cleveland, 58 against McLean. They've got 27 now. It's not even halftime.
Ooh.
Not to mention they had 36 against Oolagaw. Their defense actually has 3 shutouts of their own, and they beat Tahlequah, who's ranked number 10 in 6A, 43-3.
That's crazy.
So the thing about this Wagoner, outside of that Cushing game, they've been very consistent in what they do. They're going to run the football for about 200 to 220 yards. They're going to throw the football for about 150, 160 yards. And they're going to go score a bunch of points, and they're not going to give any up. So they're sticking to their bread and butter. We've seen probably about 7 different formations tonight already. They're going to bring Gabe Rodriguez in motion. He's going to take the lead blocker, and he's going to make a nice cut in for the touchdown. Matt, I want to show you how brilliant of a play call that is. He was in the slot. Your running back's to the left. If you watch him, Matt, he comes in motion, cuts back, takes the ball, and follows the tight end and the running back as the lead blocker. They pull the guard. Instead of pulling the guard, he just works himself up to the second level. And then the rest was him. He just breaks some tackles. So we're going to get the point after. And now this time, the kick is going to be attempted by somebody else.
Logan Bloxham, number 27, the sophomore.
And people are cheering for him. The kick is up. The kick is good. This is a 33-0 game. And we are going to go to a quick break and hear a word from our corporate sponsors.
The College of
She was a good companion, eyes like the Grand Canyon. She was an American beauty, with her wafers on in the summer sun. Her touch felt like a loaded gun. Wish I had held her long.
And we are back. probably the fastest moving game we've called this year. They do not play around. They move. And we're going to get a – oh, did that hit his foot? They're not calling it. That ball goes into the end zone, and they're going to blow the whistle now. Matt, that looked like that bounced off his foot.
Yeah, that's,
Wow. So we're going to go to a quick score update here. And you can see we've got Elk City 20, Woodward 0. Salas on Fort Gibson are deadlocked at 14. And Cushing is up 35-0 over Oologah in the second quarter. And we've got Miami 21, Cleveland 0. We're going to move over to Skytook 7, McLean 6 in the first quarter. And those are your 4A3 scores. Now we've got Catoosa, and you can see they just pinched their D-line, and he's going nowhere. Except for backwards.
Yeah, brought down by number 56, Roman Garcia, the senior defensive tackle, 6'3", 225. This guy is an animal. I'm talking huge up front.
And when he was walking out during their senior night introductions, they actually mentioned he was second in the team in tackles as a defensive tackle. Second in the team in tackles.
Almost
Very rare to
sounds
see. This is not the 1940s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s where your nose guard's your best player.
Almost sounds like somebody else.
Look at this. Everybody's standing up. Not a single player. And they're only going to blitz 3. They showed like they were blitzing 7. He's going to roll out, throw, and it is – are they going to give him the interception? They are not. And we've got a flag thrown. Two flags. Looks like we've got some late hits. Something that we've seen tonight with both teams is after the play there's been some hits in the back. Kind of a dirty game so far between these two teams. This used to be a huge rivalry from 2009 about 2015-ish. And it was Catoosa and Wagoner going back and forth. They had some great games. And then it kind of turned into a Wagoner-Oologah back-to-back state championship run for both teams, and Wagoner winning both. So no love lost between these two schools. And you can see there, we're going to go to a quick cut. And we've got Huntsville 21, Green Forest 22, second quarter, 3:38 left in the game.
That's a good game.
That is a good game. And that is from and here we go. We've got the Saints 21, the Tigers 14, second quarter, 3:18 left in that one. We want to give a huge shout out to the Southern Sports Network over in the Arkansas area. One thing that I've learned with these out-of-state games, freshman year, played McDonald County, Missouri. They are not allowed to make noise before the play during district games. So you're also not allowed to hurdle. Can't do that here anymore. I found that very interesting. So they're going to get 15 yards tacked on for the penalty for Wagoner. It's going to go up 15 yards.
Personal foul. So I don't know if you guys saw it on the replay or not, but there was a very illegal hit that was later than Joe Gritz, our cameraman, is every day.
And we've got two tight ends. He's going to fake it. He's going to roll out to his right. He's going to stop and just take another hit, and he is sacked. Matt, I think someone had mentioned against the Miami game, one of the fans up in the suites during halftime, they had mentioned that Catoosa had given up more sacks than any team in 4A in the entire state.
I can't say I agree or disagree because they were the only people I really watch, but you look at the offensive linemen, you're like, how? These guys are pretty big. Not tall, but hefty. And Duggar can scramble. But
I think the way you could combat that is their splits. If you look, sometimes they've got about a yard split in between. And then Tanner Casey's going to make a cut. Hurls over. Gabe Rodriguez goes end over end. Wow. And here's a replay. And you can see it's a wide 3-4. I think they were maybe misaligned. He makes a great cut back, sent up into the air, and that's good for about 10 to 12 yards. However, it is 3rd and 4. Catoosa looking for a desperate first down, and you can see they've got a trips stacked bunch
here we
to
go.
their sidelines. And be looking for the fake screen wheel pass. Someone's going to do a streak. Someone's going to hang out. And Duggar's going to keep it. He's going to pull it, and he's going to take off for a first down.
Dylan Duggar.
That was a great play.
Or Russell Duggar, excuse me.
Russell Duggar took the ball, and that was a good play here because, Matt, you can see on the replay, when he faked that ball, And right before he took off, they pulled the guard and the tackle, and that's really risky because you're exposing yourself to not only the defensive end, but had they had stunted, the nose guard would have came in free too. It's going to make it 1st and 10 for Catoosa. And they're going to run a trick play.
They did it again.
A player, they did it 2 weeks ago. He's going to catch it. That's a touchdown. The player pretended to be on the sidelines. Instead, he was on the field. This is a play they ran last week, and this makes it 34-6. They ran this play last week with their offensive lineman throwing the football.
And it didn't work.
The ball was snapped. Everyone's looking around wondering what happened, and they threw it deep. Here's the replay. You can see the player, he's just standing by the ref, and off he goes.
Yeah,
They thought he was over in the sidelines, and he checked in with the ref, which they didn't do last week. And the ref kind of waved him after they snapped the ball. And there you go. They're going to throw a player to the ground. This team is letting them know, you may score, but it's going to be off some trickery. Just an insane play. They ran it, and it worked. 34-6. The point after was no good. Wow. And we're going to take another look at that play just so you can see it. Now, at the top of the screen near the ref is a player with his hands on his knees. Looks like he's standing out of bounds. Instead, he just takes off running right up the seam, catches it, and there he goes. Last week, they tried to throw to number 4, Michael Barnett.
Yeah,
and he
did
threw
not
it
work.
into the ball was thrown into the stands.
Oh, that was so bad.
By the offensive linemen because they were running this where every single player on the field was an offensive lineman, and they would just run pretty much like a fullback dive. They would just follow everybody, and they'd hit A-gap.
You know what? We gotta send that into ESPN as top 10 plays
We do.
because that's wild.
We do.
They sold it.
They finally got it. They've ran it twice this year. So that's a 34-6 ball game. They got on the board.
I wouldn't really say they got on the board.
They're
I feel
on
like-
the board. It's 34-6. He's going to pooch kick this over to the 30. It is caught. He's going to cut back to the middle of the field. He's got a seam.
Give it to our boy number 12, Alex Strange.
He is on the ground. And there you and listen. We're going to see a lot more flags thrown tonight.
Yeah.
Because there have been some after the whistle plays, 3 consecutive plays where no flags have been thrown. So when you said earlier that these refs were going to let him play, you were not kidding.
Yeah, there's, and that's something that we've experienced, and I say time and time again, I feel like I'm a broken record. Not that anybody listens to me anyway, but they just stop. Just stop.
Yep. And
it's not going to help you. Anytime, just that little push or that little trash talk at the end of the play is only hurting you.
And you can see Kerwin Thomas, the assistant coach for Wagoner, a former Tulsa standout corner,
Another holding.
talking to his players, and they're going to send this ball deep, and it is intercepted. And they're going to say it is incomplete, that the ball hit the ground.
I don't know about all that.
And we've got a replay.
I don't know about all that.
So here we go. He's going to send this ball deep. Tanner Casey, the safety, catches it. Bobbles. Oh, and there it did. It hit the ground, and he reached for it. Good little save.
I thought maybe his hand stopped the ball from the ground.
I'll tell you what, if he was at recess, that's a catch. No one's going to take that from him. But we're not at recess. We're at a sanctioned football game for the state of Oklahoma. So Wagner's going to take the ball. It's going to be 2nd and 10, Matt.
Another first time coming out here on a new possession where they did not get any yards.
Watch Rodriguez in the motion. If not, they're going to do a rollout. Oh, and we've got a flag. Are they going to call this dead ball delay a game? And they are. You don't see that very often. So that's going to go back 5 yards. It's going to make this 2nd and 15. Ball on the 39-yard line. Shotgun set. Brings it tight end to the left there, empty. Kale's going to take the snap. He's going to look to his right, look to his left. He's going to throw one deep, and it is caught right before he falls out of bounds. Great toe-tapping reception by number 3, Matson Swanson.
I've got to get something off my chest, Carson. You cannot expect Boomer Lovins or Gunnar Wilson to make a play tonight because they continuously keep getting held on the edge. And both times, I've watched the last 2 plays, and they've both happened to them both times. They both look at the ref like, what are you doing? Why are you not calling this?
So now we've got a tight end to the right. Matt, if you look at Wagner's offensive line, their splits are a full yard apiece from foot to foot, and that has to make you spread out. And when you do that, when you spread the defensive line out, you back your linebackers up. Reason being, it makes it easier for them to see. And that's why you see these open spaces where the outside linebackers are. All they are doing with their slot when they get in that empty set is they're just replacing where the linebackers are blitzing or running from. You're basically doing the Mike Leach approach. You're telling your slot running backs and your tight ends, run where they run away from. That's something Wagoner has done when they've got all these athletes. Over the years, they've kind of changed their offense a little bit to do more of a power run.
So we're going to get a timeout, Catoosa.
We're going to get a timeout by Catoosa. Matt, what is the over-under on how long it takes for Wagoner to run a little bit of a trick plays around? Because Dale Conn is more of an ornery coach, and he will put as many points on that scoreboard as possible.
I don't see one right now.
Senior night.
I don't see one at halftime, but I'm glad you brought up senior night. I could see a senior offensive lineman getting a ball
I can see that.
and going to town.
Fair enough. And
if I don't, I'm going to be completely disappointed. Hey, Carson, let's go look at some of the scores around the state in 4A.
All right, here we go. Cushing 49, Oologah 0, second quarter. That game's a blowout. Miami 28, Cleveland 0, Catoosa 0, Wagoner 34 here. And a game, number 6, Tuttle 14, number 7, Newcastle 13 in the second quarter. We're going to take one more look over at the Skytook 13, McLean 6 game, and that is in the second quarter.
I am really rooting for McLean in that game. Just watching the way that they played that night against Catoosa, I'm a fan of them.
And they have definitely fought through some adversity. They've lost 2 home games.
Absolutely.
They've been turned to away games. And shotgun, so he's going to throw the comeback. We're going to get a whole bunch of stiff arms. Poor tackling. He sidesteps the sidelines and takes that for a touchdown. The 6'6" wide receiver, Whit Edwards.
Yeah, and that's why I said he's the player of the game of the game for me.
And if you can see here, it's a 15-yard comeback. So he runs 15, comes back, catches it at 12. Look at that. Stiff arms 1, high steps 2, stiff arms the helmet off of him. And that first stiff arm was not a stiff. That was more of a shove to get off, kind of like a punch. And this is number 18, Ethan Muhlenweg, the senior.
Oh, we got another one.
And this kick is up, and this kick is good. Makes it 41-6. 1 minute left in the game.
That's something we also need to talk about, Carson. The depth of this team. They have 3 different kickers.
3.
And then you got Catoosa. Their depth is looking like my stomach right now. And
depth has never been a problem for Wagoner. It's never been a problem. Did you know when Lawrence Evan, the good running back for Wagoner, almost hit 3,000 yards in the game, Matt, half the time he was playing the slot.
Wow.
They would bring him in motion, his hand on the ball. Very, very, very good players coming out of Wagoner. You can do an entire episode on the history of this program. You can even throw it back to Gus Jones, the linebacker, T.J. Pons, linebacker, Prince McJunkins, the quarterback who went to, I believe, Georgia Southern, ended up playing receiver at Northeastern State. So, and we're going to get the kick. That ball is going to go deep, and Michael Barnett is not back there to return, so we're going to keep an eye on that and see if he has fighting an injury. He's got a space, breaks a tackle, and there he goes, takes it past the 40, and that is 2 consecutive kick returns that Catoosa has taken the ball past the 30.
Hey, they're looking good. Michael Blendowski looked a lot more comfortable than Tanner Casey
did. A Swiss
did.
Army knife. When you get them 2 playing good together,
it's dangerous.
And that was kind of the key for them to the almost upset at Miami as Blendowski and Tanner Casey. They were playing such a good game. And, man, even though all the pressure is coming towards Russell Duggar, he still looks so good in that pocket. A preseason top 100 player coming in the state of Oklahoma. He's going to throw that middle screen. There it is. And I want to kind of mention something. Before that play, Matt, all their linebackers were about 5 yards past where they normally line up. And did he call a timeout or is that?
That's another timeout, but a blatant flag or a blatant foul should have been thrown for a flag right there on Wagoner. Once again, just stupid. Listen, both Catoosa and Wagoner, just the extracurricular activities is unneeded in a situation. Like, dude, go to halftime and chill out on it. You got 39 seconds left in the half.
And I once heard Dale Conn say at a coaches conference, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it is not affecting the game in a negative way, he is not going to pay any attention to it. The only two things he's looking for is how's his offensive line blocking and is anyone giving hustle on defense.
I mean, you guys got you got Wagoner football players down here just having a good time doing the YMCA.
And we've got a great game with the Shiloh Saints 21, Tigers 22. This game is in Arkansas with our sister network. 4 seconds left in the second quarter. Tigers are up 22-21. That, from my understanding, ask our producer Chris, is a pretty big game. And that's number 1 versus number 2. So we'll keep an update on that game. That game has been pretty fun.
As the clock will continue
This clock's going to continue to run. Duggar's going to get sacked, but no timeouts being called. They've got one left. And I think they're gonna get an empty set and probably take a heave towards the end zone and take this into halftime.
Yeah, let's just before we go to halftime, let's look at number 2, Dylan Duggar.
And I think his brother Russell is going to throw one deep if he can get enough time. They're just coming hot off the edge. Those defensive ends, they're just giving the tackles for Catoosa everything they want and then some.
All right, looks like it's going to be halftime. With your score right now, Catoosa 6, Wagoner Bulldogs 41.
We are going to go to our halftime break, and we will be back for our halftime show in just a moment.
A tradition of educational excellence, more than a century in the making, continues in Broken Arrow. Here, supportive faculty, in-demand undergraduate and graduate degrees, and affordable tuition make Northeastern State University your transfer destination. Finish what you started.
Having a body is tough. Exercising, sports, work, and life itself can leave you feeling tense at any age. The Trainer's Table is here for you. No appointments or memberships needed because you can't always plan ahead for when you're physically sore. The Trainer's Table. Let us stretch you.
I can feel the warmth deep down in my bones. When I walk through that open door, I know that I am home.
I miss him too.
You're my home. You're my home. Love brings us here. Together we can do no wrong. Together's where we all belong. You're my home. My home.
One thing I really noticed before I came on to Gearbox, other paddles change over time. They start to slowly deteriorate, and at about that 3 or 4 month mark, just kind of felt dead. And then I would switch to a new paddle, and it was kind of too fast, because then it had to degrade to get into that sweet spot again. I've been using the GX5 for just about a year now. Same paddle that I picked up the first time I hit it. Haven't switched paddles, and it feels exactly the same a year later, and that's huge.
At Northeastern State University in Muskogee, we take care of our students so they can take care of others. Choose from a variety of healthcare degrees, including physician assistant studies, nursing, occupational therapy, speech-language pathology, and more. Answer the call at Northeastern State University.
Hey, Dean Blandino here. And guess what? Football season is right around the corner. And to watch the best live broadcasts in high school sports in Northeast Oklahoma, download the Southern Sports Network app. And check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I just did. Give them a like. It's the best broadcast in high school sports, and not just that area, in the country. Check them out.
My name's Todd Harden, and I am Todd's Coffee. The reason I do this to begin with is because I really want people to experience coffee. What I'm doing and what other roasters are doing as well is, we're trying to figure out what the bean is trying to tell us. My goal and my customer really is, there's probably 2 out of 10 people that could taste the difference in one of my better roasts versus an average roast. If I can make those people happy, I'm making everybody happy. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to roasting. You can just go to toddscoffee.com. You can get a whole bean, or I'll grind it for you. Either way, there'll be a drop down in there that you can order it that way. So order some coffee.
The College of Education at Northeastern State University prepares educators, mental health providers, and fitness or health professionals with undergraduate and graduate programs. Choose from degrees in elementary, secondary education, special education, health and human performance, psychology, and more. Be ready from day one at Northeastern State University.
Hi, Peyton Hillis here for Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing. I've scored for the Hogs and for the NFL, but now my whole family has scored big finding this amazing store. Ozark Sportsman has everything a sportsman wants. The best firearm selection and gun safe choices anywhere in Northwest Arkansas. And a 15-lane indoor range and so much more. Ozark Outpost Clothing has all the hot boutique brands for women. And hey guys, our favorite brands also. Score big savings on top brands and follow me to Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing.
Some might say I'm an ideas guy. I'd like to think of myself more as a doer. I like to make things happen, both for myself and for the people my businesses serve. Signature Bank has been crucial in that for me. From starting my moving businesses, to expanding into mobile minis, all the way to our current office and warehouse space. Signature has advised and supported me every step of the way.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our in-demand undergraduate and graduate programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, marketing, supply chain management, information systems, healthcare administration, data analytics, and more. Lead with experience from Northeastern State University.
Bounce and then hit. Right, you're gonna do it yourself. Right?
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now.
Dad, what do you think?
I like it.
Spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes now that have just begun. And the purple sun. There's many reasons we are what we've become. I'm going through changes, ripping out pages. I'm going through changes now.
Hey sis.
The College of Liberal Arts at Northeastern State University is innovative, engaging, life-changing, empowering. Choose from undergraduate and graduate degrees in the arts and fine arts, languages, criminal justice, social work, and more. Be inspired at Northeastern State University. In 1851, the Cherokee ignited the lamp of learning in the wilderness. For more than a century, this has been a gathering place where minds are developed and lifelong relationships are made, where dreams find direction. The lamp burns brightly still at Northeastern State University. We are computer science pros, chemists and lab technicians, health professionals, mathematicians, and science educators. We are the Greg Wadley College of Science and Health Professions at Northeastern State University. Choose from degrees in natural sciences, health and pre-health professions, mathematics and computer science, and more. Discover the possibilities at Northeastern State University.
One thing I really noticed before I came on to Gearbox, other paddles change over time. They start to slowly deteriorate, and at about that 3 or 4 month mark, just kind of felt dead. And then I would switch to a new paddle, and it was kind of too fast, because then it had to degrade to get into that sweet spot again. I've been using the GX5 for just about a year now. Same paddle that I picked up the first time I hit it, haven't switched paddles, and it feels exactly the same a year later, and that's huge.
At NWA Getaways Dream Vacations, our goal is to relieve our clients of the vacation planning stress, as well as ensure that they get the best value for their investment. We love making suggestions that take their vacations from what they request to a level beyond their dreams. Our perfect client is that busy professional who wants to relax with friends and family, but doesn't want the stress of planning for it. I'm Debbie Corwin with NWA Getaways Dream Vacations, where we make your dream vacation a reality.
And we are back. Matt, 41-6, Wagoner. What do you think about that?
Expected. I'm sorry, that's the only
A
word
lot
I
of
can
people
come
in
up
the
with.
Tulsa world expected it.
Well, but that, like we say all the time, that does not define what we've seen thus far. I mean, I've seen a tough Catoosa team come in here and fight tough against a very well-rounded, very disciplined Wagoner football team.
Yep. They got the trick play, made that 6 points for Catoosa. It was a great trick play, actually. It was one of the better trick plays that I have seen. That's the type of trick play you do see on Sports Center, like you had mentioned.
Yeah.
We might send that to see, where we can go with that one. But Wagoner, they have done it kind of in the most boring, exciting way. They're going to run the football, bring a guy in motion, and they're going to run through the edge. So it's not anything really fancy. I guess the fancy part was to be how disciplined they are on offense. They're running the just boom, 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 and they're hurrying. They're not really huddling. They know almost like their play is scripted 3 or 4 plays in advance.
I was just about to say that. It's like it's scripted, and also it's like they carry this chip on their shoulder, this certain kind of swag that we haven't seen.
I am glad you said that, because every time you talk to somebody who has played football at Wagoner in years past, they all mention the same thing. There is a pressure to uphold what the guys before them did. And they take that extremely seriously here. Even the youth players here in Wagoner, instead of running around playing football in the end zone or on the sidelines and all that, they are in the stands watching. They are literally just sitting there watching the high school.
Nobody's really watching anymore.
Well,
fans are starting to flood out of the gates. The sold-out crowd is, getting flooded.
Thousands.
I'm talking thousands.
I had to swim over people to get in.
You are correct. There is a lot of young kids that aren't out here playing football, playing these pitter-patter games. But it's more or less, they know that they're the future.
They do. And it's almost like they expect to be here when they are in. So that is a true tradition and culture there. But we're going to take a look at some scores. Wow. Cushing 56, Oologah 0 at halftime. Cushing number 1 in the state in 4A. Winners of District 4A 3. Miami 28, Cleveland 0. Skytook 13, McLean 12 in the second quarter still. That's a tough game there. And then we've got number 6, Tuttle 14, number 7, Newcastle 13. And if you look all the way over here at this Poto, Ada scored. Number 5, Poto 20, Ada 0. And the reason that game is important because that game can completely change the way that the brackets are going to be for the eastern side of the state. So we're going to keep an eye on that Poto Ada game because that could actually make someone else come to Wagoner for a home playoff game. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And both teams are out on the field. They are stretching. They are getting warmed up and ready to go for the second half. Matt, what is one key thing that Catoosa needs to change to make this a more competitive second half?
You asked me this question. I was prepared for a different avenue at the end of the question, but same as always. Watch the penalties, watch the turnovers, stop the extracurricular activities. But what I would say is don't give up.
Yeah.
And, we've seen them not really give up, become a little bit lackadaisical.
They go towards that bend but don't break, and they break.
Yeah.
On defense. Now, what is one thing for Wagoner that you have saw that you like to see them continue to do?
I'd just like to see them keep fighting, keep hitting hard, not giving up on the plays. But one thing I do also want to see from Wagoner is I want to see these young guns come in. Not saying that they don't have young guns on the play.
They've got quite a few playing. Yeah, there's quarterback sophomore.
Sophomore.
So, and this is not college. You don't leave to go to the NFL and declare for the draft when you're, a redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore. I mean, high school, their center is a 4-year starter. And they have mentioned that he's not missed a game at all in his high school career. He's literally touched the football on every offensive play for 4 straight years.
And the funny thing is, at halftime, we all went down there. I went to go use the restroom, and I go up to go get a water at the concession stand, and number 56 is actually out there talking, and he's a pretty big dude, and I told him, good game, knuckled him up, and being a center myself, wearing the opposite number, 65, it's cool to see these guys out here, especially, that's something that was my favorite part of being a center, is being recognized. I'm the only person who touches the ball every play.
Right. You know, and we've got the refs here. They're communicating in the middle of the field. The weather is starting to come in. It looks like it's about the same. It's staying steady. It's not really picked up. So ultimately, I think what is going to happen is they're just going to continue to run this game as normal. If it starts to pick up, then we might get the running clock. However, they're up enough to where that if they do have that weather delay, instead of holding you here for a long period of time to resume, at that point is when the refs start considering, all right, if this goes past a certain limit, we're just going to call a game.
Yeah.
You're up 41-6. You've already played one half of the game. This is not a situation where weather cancels a game. They play in the Saturday. They play a second half. That's not going to happen. So,
no.
But here we go. 25 seconds left till we start the second half. Catoosa will receive the ball.
One thing I want to point out before we get into that, I saw the Brody, number 5 for Catoosa, warming up a little bit more than Duggar. So, what would you think? Do you think that Catoosa is going to take this time to bring in the young guns and maybe hope that Wagner's team brings in the young guns and kind of just go head-to-head?
I think we're going to get a battle here in the fourth quarter with the young guys. I think third quarter, Wagner's going to try to extend that lead and really make sure that Catoosa is not going to have anything to do to come back. But, listen, that freshman quarterback for Catoosa at one point looked like he was going to be the starter over the senior. I mean, he's got some skill over him, and we've got to see him. So that kick is sent into the end zone, no doubt about that one. Number 4, Michael Barnett, is back in the game. He does not return the kick.
Number 27, Logan Bloxham, was the kicker on that one. Now, if we go back over here to our kickers, he's actually not on the list. So what do they have? 4 kickers?
That would be the 4th person we've seen tonight kick a football.
Depth chart off the charts for Wagoner Bulldogs.
That does improve their Madden ratings. Depth is very important. So here we go. Tight end to the right. Trips stack to the left, bottom of the screen, running back to his left. Duggar in shotgun. He's going to take the snap. It's a low snap. He's going to hand the ball off, and that is going to be about a 5-yard loss. They're going to say 3 yards. They're going to give him forward momentum. Matt, and that's something that kind of really confuses me, is that they read the defensive end to the Trips side instead of away, and they brought the corner over, Wagner's defense did, and that left 2 people on the quarterback. So that was very interesting. They're going to flip that. Quarterback's going to throw a post route. It is caught, and that should be enough for a first down. That will move the chains, and we've got a flag. You are correct.
I think it's going to be roughing the passer, if I could call it.
And you are correct. That is going to add 15 yards to the end of that play. Catoosa is going to get about 25 yards, and you can see the replay here. And let's see how long that ball was out of his hands when he got hit.
Dirty.
That was about, I would have hit him. So
I can't get mad at him. I probably would have hit him too, but
he gets 25 to life if he was in the NFL and he hit that quarterback the way he just did now.
Only if it's Brady or Mahomes.
So here we go. We're going to get a Trips bunch up towards the line of scrimmage. Actually, we're going to get an empty set. Duggar in the backfield by himself. He's going to take the snap, quickly throw the curl route, and it is through number 4, Michael Barnett's hands, something we have seen all throughout the year. He great athlete. Standing next to him, he's a big kid, and he's one of the he's actually a track guy for Catoosa. He's very fast. Getting him the football has been kind of a game in itself this season because of the drops that they've had to fight through. So it's going to bring up second down. Duggar in the backfield, Blendowski standing to his left. Tanner Casey at the bottom of the screen by himself. Trips up to the right. He's going to take the snap. He's looking to Casey. He's going to move, and they're going to throw the slant. Did not catch the ball, but, Matt, I'm telling you, if he did, that we're probably looking at 6 points because he had the corner beat by a good 3 or 4 yards.
They ran the same play earlier in the first quarter, and you said, if he would have just had his feet under him, I kind of agreed with you, but I feel like this one kind of just goes off to what I was thinking is Duggar leads him a little too much.
He does. He throws it out there, and you can do that when you've got guys with speed, especially with long arms, strong hands. You can kind of lead them, especially in high school, but That play, that's tough right there. So,
hey, there it is.
And we're going to get another flag thrown. Players are telling on each other, so they don't abide by the street code. And this is going to bring up a third down. They're going to move the ball up 5 yards. The rain's starting to come down just a little bit more heavier than what it was before halftime.
One thing I want you to watch right here is watch number 12, Alex Shield Knight. He has 33 tackles on the season so far, not counting the ones from tonight.
They're going to pull the guard and tackle here.
If they get the ball off.
Oh, they're going to take a shot deep to number 20, Tanner. That's batted away by number 3, Matson Swanson.
There's another flag on the play. Looks like it's going to be some extracurricular activities on Catoosa. Wow. Number 52, Gunnar Wilson. We talk a lot about Gunnar Wilson. It's just disappointing to see him do something of that degree. He knows better. He acts like he knows better, when we talk to him. But it's just,
he's a player that they rely on, and he's a sophomore, and he's almost like a glue to that defense.
That could have been 4th and 7, but instead, it's 4th and forever.
They're going to get the punt, and that's not going to go very far. It takes a backwards bounce, something they look for in the NFL. Not a very long punt, but that will take the ball past the 50. Wagoner will take possession. 41-6, 10:36 left in the game. The win tonight completely secures a second seed for Wagoner. They will get to host a home playoff game. So the way that the districts work, if you win your conference, you get home field advantage for playoffs. If you get second place, you get to host a first-round home playoff game. Something Catoosa will not get the pleasure of having a chance to do. They've been eliminated from the playoffs with the loss 2 weeks ago to Miami. And you can see the run in there, just the very simple run by number 5, Braylon Robertson, who had the not interception return for touchdown.
No, it was
classified as a fumble return.
Yeah, fumble return for a
because
touchdown.
The interception
could have gone
by number 1, Whit Edwards. He runs about 2 yards off the deflection. He gets hit by the center, who put a pretty good pop on him. But that's the thing about why they're so disciplined, is that they're always moving forward.
Yeah.
They're always moving forward. And a pretty selfless team, too. When that ball got intercepted, everybody immediately looked for someone to block.
That's when they yelled out one of my favorite words to ever hear when you're playing football, unless you're an offense. Oski.
Oski. And there you go. You're going to get a shotgun set. Twins set. You're going to see Gabe Rodriguez. He's going to motion. They're going to fake the handoff. And I could tell you one thing. He did cut the ball up, and I think that might be with him being so young as a sophomore. If you would have continued up, and maybe because the defensive end stayed home, but if he would have bit down, that edge was open, and they could have ran that speed option up to the Catoosa sidelines. Something that Catoosa has struggled with all year, pulling the guard and tackle and leaving that end exposed and taking too long to either hand the ball off or keep the read. So that's something that Catoosa will have to work on.
And there's another thing right there. You just saw it, that last play. That's another first down.
And they're going to throw the spot screen. We're going to see a great hurdle by number 1, Whit Edwards. 6'6". I think he's standing about 6'7", especially in his cleats. He's also the punter. Here's the play here. This is called a spot screen, where you just turn towards the quarterback. Look at that. Wow. You get someone that big to move like that, it's unfair. We're going to go ahead and say he's a created Madden player.
Well, he has my last name. We share last names, and it must be an Edwards thing.
Share last name. You guys are both athletic. The only thing is he has all 10 of his fingers.
Well, and he's about 10 inches taller than me.
Maybe why he catches the ball so well.
Oh, shoot. I ride saddle broncs for a living. This guy doesn't, so we're a little different.
Matt, and I don't know if you just saw the play on that. They actually had the H-back directly behind the guard, almost splitting the guard and the center's feet. And you can see here, he's literally standing right next to the center. They pulled the left guard, the H-back who was standing behind him, lead blocks. He makes a cut. Great play call. It's nice to see you bring tight ends and utilize your tight ends and your fullbacks.
That was sound defense too. I felt the wind off of number 8.
He was trying to get that ball out. That right there is good coaching.
Number 8, Seth Charles.
And he's going to run a comeback towards the sidelines. He catches it and holds the ball up just because he can.
Yeah, definitely an Edwards.
And that is going to be about a 7 or 8 yard gain. So they're going to roll that roll out. The tight end blocks, running back blocks, slot receiver bubbles, and what he does is he pulls you down so you can run that quick comeback to the sidelines.
Just to give you guys at home a early representation or an easier representation of how tall Whit Edwards is, he's easily a head taller than any other skill player on
He's
that,
the tallest
on the
person on that field,
line.
even including the rest. And I have a feeling here in a minute they're going to take a shot deep. So they're going to hand the ball. Oh, my goodness. Number 5, Braylon Robertson, shoving people around and trying to take their lunch money. He does not care. You're in his way. He wants 6 points.
Aiden Scraper, number 22 for Catoosa, had him pad level, head into his chest, and still didn't wrap up.
That comes down to one thing. Who wants it more?
Well, Aiden Scraper wants it when the play's over. He's had 2 of them tonight.
So Wagner's going to keep possession and move the chains. This will be first down. Now, look, they've got Whit Edwards, 6'6" junior, down here by himself. I think they're going to take a shot deep. No, they're going to roll out and throw it to number 2, Braden Skeen, who takes it in for a touchdown. This is going to be a 47-6 ball game. And here is a replay. He comes from the opposite side of the screen, Matt. Something the NFL loves to do. And you know how you ruin that play? This is a play that you can ruin by actually being unsound, by your defensive end not running upfield to go get the sack. If he just sits there, and when that receiver's coming through across the line of scrimmage, you put your shoulder in his face. And then the only thing the quarterback gets to do is either run around or throw it to the receiver, and it gives your corner a chance for an interception.
Makes sense.
So we're going to go to a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors, and we will be back with you in just a moment.
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. Spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes, ripping out pages. I'm going through changes now.
And we are back. Matt, what do you think so far from that last drive?
I think that Catoosa's giving up on their plays, kind of getting lackadaisical, like I said I didn't want them to do. And, you can see him starting to shut down a little bit here. So the ball's kicked to number 4, Michael Barnett. It takes an awkward bounce back forward. Michael Barnett picks it up, goes around the right side. He has it all.
Oh, he's got an opening.
He's got one man to beat, one of the 19 kickers. And he's down. Down at the 38.
I tell you what, if that was Verdigris, that's a touchdown. Because if you remember, Verdigris' kicker would kick the ball and just turn around and walk straight off to the sidelines. Did not even care. And 3 to 4 different times that night, Catoosa returned the kick to the 50, almost having a touchdown.
I can't pronounce that word.
And here we go, Catoosa with the ball. Fourth quarter, they are an extremely aggressive team in the second half, especially losing big. But they are not going to give up on that run. Duggar's going to roll it to his – oh, no, and he is going to be just choke slammed to the ground. That weapon he has on his left wrist serviced him of no good.
Hey, that's – so Whit Edwards, right, not only a crazy offensive player, but great defensive player. As a cornerback, that's his 3rd sack this season.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's really impressive when your receiver is a physical corner who sometimes looks like he's playing a defensive end. They're blitzing him off the edge. When you can choke slam a quarterback who's almost as big as you, it's pretty impressive.
No, it's not impressive because his choke slam is a clothesline.
Listen, Duggar is 6'4" himself, weighs about 220. Almost intercepted. Tanner Casey's going to take the sideline. He's going to take a shot.
Yeah, that should have been a hit out of bounds. Or I'm sorry,
He's going to
lost
hop
the words.
up. And here is the replay. Seconds away. I mean, he's just, if he cuts more inside, it was a great block by Catoosa's receiver to give him time to make that catch. Gives them positive yards, but they're still looking at a 3rd and 9. Matt, do you think they're going to pass here?
I think it would be smart of them, but the rain's coming down, and we've had these problems all week or all year long with Catoosa. The snaps are kind of off and on as far as consistently goes.
Yeah, we're going to see a flood route here. There's the out route. There's the 2 verticals. He's going to take it up the middle.
Great.
Lowers his shoulder.
Oh, that's a bad spot by the guy on this side.
They're going to give him the first down.
Yeah.
They're going to move the chains. And that is something that Duggar likes to do. He is not a quarterback that slides. He's going to run somebody over.
Look at the pocket presence he has.
Steps up in the pocket. That's always good to see. And, with the injuries that Catoosa had on the offensive line and the drops that the receivers are experiencing, and the injury that he has had, he has not looked like the preseason top 100 player that we thought he was going to be in the great year leading that team to the playoffs last year. But one thing you cannot take away from him is he's someone that you want to get into have on your side when you get into a bar fight, because he's tough and he's not going to quit and he's going to keep going. And you can tell by the game that we've had players shoving each other after the play, and we've had late hits and late tackles. He's the only player I've seen Wagoner help up all night.
Yeah, they got some mad respect for him.
And you have to. He's got a broken wrist, quarterback diving in first into 3 linebackers for a first down.
Mad respect for him in between whistles, or after the whistles. In between whistles, it's no holds barred.
No holds barred. So we got a shotgun set. We've got 2 tight ends to the left. They're going to pull the tackle. They're going to run a veer, and that's going to go for a no gain. Makes it 3rd and 13. What do you think of the play calling so far in the second half for Catoosa, Matt?
I hate veer. That
especially
I just have
shotgun.
A horrible, horrible experience my senior year playing football with the veer. That's all my coach wanted to run. That's why McAllister, they did that against Catoosa and lost by a significant amount of points.
They're going to send the house here, Matt. And there you go. They just sent everybody. Throws it deep. Incomplete.
I think we might have a flag on the play. I think.
This scoreboard is looking scary right before Halloween, 48-6. We've got an injured player on the field. That is number 12, Alex Shield Knight. And we're going to go to a quick score. This is number 1 versus, I'm sorry, I do apologize. We're going to pull up the graphic to show you the current scores here. And as you can see over all the way towards that Miami-Cleveland game, that is now 35-0. You've got Prague 0, Hera 0, but that's just in the first quarter. So Sky took 13, McLean 12. They're still fighting, still getting through it. And we're going to resume play here now.
It's going to be 4th and 13, but they still have the offense on the field.
And they're running that safe return. They're just going to go ahead and punt it. I think their fakes are done for the night. Nobody is even back there to return it.
That was a bad call by me. I did not see the punter with the piece blocking me by the window.
And so here is the other game. Shiloh Christian ranked number 1. Prairie Grove ranked number 2. This is 4A. Both unbeaten team. Both teams unbeaten. Both in the same conference. It was a 22-21 lead for the Tigers before halftime. Now here we are in the third quarter, and Shiloh is up 41-22. So
there was a stern talking to in halftime there.
A lot of prayers were thrown up in that locker room at halftime, and it looks like God has answered the calling. So we got Wagoner 48. We got Catoosa 6.
I don't think they prayed that much in the locker room.
This is about the game that the Tulsa World has expected it when the game ended. Here we are in the middle of the third.
Yeah.
The score could get ugly, even more so than it is. We got people excited. The rain looks like it's calmed down a little bit to a light, brisk sprinkle. Nobody can tackle number 5, Braylon Robertson. He's a 5'11", 220-pound running back.
Dang, that's like my size. I weigh 10 pounds more than him, but I feel like we might be built a little bit different.
It looks like we had 2 Catoosa players who had to be broken up in a shoving match with each other on the sidelines. That's going to be interesting to keep eyes on. Only one of 2 things usually happens when teammates fight each other. None of them are good.
Somebody says something about somebody else's mama.
Probably. So we're going to get Gabe Rodriguez brought into motion. We got a bad snap.
I don't know why they blew the whistle.
But we got
there.
a false start.
Well, they're
on
lucky.
Wagner. That was lucky because
They're lucky.
when he turned to pick that ball up, he kicked it.
Yeah, they're real lucky.
That ref is a better ref than me. I would have picked it up and handed it to him just to be nice, and I would have caused a whole lot of people to get mad.
And you would not be a oh, never mind. There's a ref shortage. You might have gotten a slap on the wrist.
So Matt, let me ask you a quick question here. We've kind of talked about it a couple times. I'm sure we've annoyed some people, but we've got Coweta right up the road.
Yes.
Undefeated, ranked number 1 in 5A.
It was great watching them beat the tar out of McAllister.
McAllister 49-0. McAllister last year's state championship game, they lost to Collinsville. They went for 2 with 1 second left on the clock and did not get it, and that's how Collinsville got the win.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to ask you is you got Muskogee as well, who's undefeated, ranked in 6A. I believe they're ranked number 4, number 5 maybe. And then the opposite direction, you've got Pryor, who's 5A, and they seem to go to the quarterfinals every other year over the past 6, 7, 8 years now. And then you can go another direction. You've got Porter. So you got Muskogee, you got Coweta, you got Porter, and then you've got Pryor. You got all these teams, and yet one thing that has stuck out in the area is Wagner, dating all the way back to 1945. They've just appeared in state championships time and time and time again. And we're going to get a pass deep, and it is caught by number 2, Braden Skeen, the senior, 6 foot, 155 pounds.
Soaking wet.
And look at that. He just ran, didn't even put a hesitation move on nobody. He just took off, went straight. He even called for it, Matt.
That's a handy guy.
The rain's starting to pick up a little bit more now. We got people now hiding under umbrellas and trying to take some cover, and we've got fans leaving. No longer the sold-out crowd we had to start the game.
People fighting on the sidelines.
We're going to run a quarterback power to the
block.
right. And that quarterback is fighting for them yards. Kale Charbonneau.
Uh-oh. Got an injured player.
And that is not good. That is their senior playmaker, number 4, Michael Barnett. So we're going to go ahead and take a switch over. And you can see Huntsville 29, Green Forest 29. That is also another implication, big game for implications for playoffs in the Arkansas side district. Reason we bring this one up is because the Saints 41, Tigers 22. This is a number 1 versus number 2 matchup. They're also a rivalry game in the same conference, both undefeated for 4A. Winner of that game wins their district, and that is going to be a huge game. I apologize. That is the 5A, not 4A. That is a 5A, the 5A West for Arkansas.
Oh, looks like Michael Barnett gets up and walks off on his own.
That is always good to see a player get up on his own. Catoosa has been fighting injuries all year, and if you remember when they played Stigler, Class 3A, Stigler actually had about 15 more kids than Catoosa, and that has been pretty much the case all year. And Matt, I can tell you from experience, when I played against Catoosa, all the way back in 2012, when they were contenders for state championships for about a 3-4 year period, they were bringing out kids as much as we had, and we were a 5A school. So Catoosa's been 4A for a while. Quarterback's going to drop back, pump fake, and he gets hit as he throws by number 52, your guy.
Hey, Gunnar Wilson.
Gets the double leg.
Even though the score is the way it is.
And he does a nice swing move, beats the left tackle, and that is a great hit.
There is still no stopping that guy. I think he's giving that sign one more. One more. I'm just assuming he's this close to getting him.
And he's letting them know, just wait till wrestling season.
Oh, yeah, it's game over after that. He's giving them wrestling moves out there looking like a kung fu fighter. They got to hurry up offense.
Wow, that was a nice little wing tee there we got to see. We don't get to see that a whole lot. And they broke out quick. I was expecting a trick play.
So was I. But I think the trick was in the hurry-up offense as opposed to the play itself.
So Wagner here averaging 35.8 points per game on the season. They've got 48 tonight. They only give up 11 points per game. They've only given up 6 tonight. They're giving up 25 yards rushing offense for the year. Catoosa has well eclipsed 25 yards. Gabe Rodriguez, another strong run.
It was a great tackle by number 8, Seth Charles, for the Catoosa Indians. Hard tackle.
And they're just driving the ball all the way down the field.
You know, and I said something about Catoosa giving up. It looks like they kind of started picking up momentum a little bit more and kind of making Wagoner earn it.
So, and we've got an update here. 4A number 1 undefeated Cushing is up 63-0 over Oologah in the third quarter. Cushing on multiple attempts this year, almost kind of like Bixby. They've not scored 80 points yet. Bixby has 4 times, by the way. But Cushing is looking to show to everybody going into playoffs that if you are in our way, we're going to put 70 on you. And it's something that they can easily do. I mean, they came to Wagoner, and first off, Wagoner does not lose a lot of games, and especially at home. And when you come to Wagoner and beat Wagoner 42-0, that's insane. Their quarterback leads the state in all classes in passing yards at this moment. So we're going to go to the end of the third quarter. We'll show you some of these scores.
What is this?
And as you can see, we've got Skytook 13, McLean 12 still. That is a dogfight. McLean needing to keep winning so they can get that 4th playoff spot. They have to win out and get some help. They're not entirely eliminated from the playoffs. Oologah, who's sitting in that 4th spot, losing 63-0. And then you've got Miami 35, Cleveland 0. Miami, fun fact. You know, I like these fun facts.
Yeah, you got a lot of them, and that's not a problem.
Can you name the Heisman Trophy winner of Oklahoma who came from Miami High School and played at NEO?
Barry Sanders. No, I don't know.
Wrong.
I'm just joking with you. He didn't even play at OU. I was just joking. I was just seeing how crazy he'd freak out.
Steve Owens. Can you name the
Billy
rest
Sims.
of the Oklahoma-born Heisman Trophy winners?
Billy Sims.
Not born in Oklahoma. You got Steve Owens.
Okay, not Baker Mayfield.
You got Sam Bradford.
Oh, Jason White.
Jason White. Was he born in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
He was born in Oklahoma. That's right. So there's 3, and there's 4 of them.
Okay.
It's 4 total. Heisman Trophy winners.
Josh Heupel didn't win the Heisman Trophy.
He did not. He did not.
So,
here we go.
Back.
We're going to get more of that wing tee. They're just. You ever seen a quarterback sneak go for 5 yards?
I just did.
Incredible.
You said a Heisman Trophy winner from OU, and I said Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
I'm surprised you didn't laugh. Like we got our producer
So,
Chris over here
here's another
mad at
fun
me.
fact.
I'm probably not gonna have a job anymore.
You know the record that.
That's the whole point. I didn't know he's from Wichita.
So, the record that Barry Sanders broke in the 80s when he's at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
That record was held by a prior native named Mays McLean.
Oh, that's a
That
great
is a
catch
touchdown catch.
by Whit Edwards, number 1.
By number 1, Whit Edwards. But as I was saying, Mays McLean, a 3-time national champion for Yale, won the Heisman before it was called the Heisman. It's just the Player of the Year award from Pryor, Oklahoma. Just destroys and obliterates the college football records for points and yards. And it stood for over 50 years until Barry Sanders broke it. There's a fun fact, and that is about 40 miles north of where we are standing now.
So we have an injured player on the field, so we can get back into this conversation. So you have
Sam Bradford.
Okay.
Steve Owens.
Josh Heupel, or Jason White. Jason White. We took Josh Heupel out, and who's the other one? Do you know the other one?
I'm not saying it until someone gets it.
Nah, because he don't know.
We're going to go to our text line and see if any of our fans are picking up.
Phone a friend. All right, so we got – who do we have that's won it? We got Kyler Murray. Yeah, no. I'm just naming them off. Kyler Murray. Baker. Yeah, I don't know. I'm naming them off. Okay, Sam Bradford. Kyler Murray didn't win. It was Jalen Hurts that won it instead of Kyler, right? No. I got it mixed up. Okay. Oh, we're back. Here we go.
So the state of Oklahoma has produced the second most amount of Heisman Trophy winners.
I know the number 1.
Out of all the states. So it's 54-6. Wagner's going to put the point up, and it is good. Barely just squeaks in there. Makes this a 55-6 game with 11:35 left in the fourth quarter.
You know, I think that if they would have, like on these special teams, on these field goals, Michael Blandowski almost
got
blocks it every time. If he would just dive out and give it a chance.
Are you ready for that name? Billy Vessels.
Dude, why did I not say that? All right. You know what? Chris, your texts this week were right. I really appreciate all the time and opportunity you guys have given me. I'm going to go ahead and see myself out the door. Because now I'm embarrassed. And by the way, my name is Stephen Ward.
So Wagner's going to kick the ball off. Catoosa back to receive. They are flip-flopping Tanner Casey and Michael Barnett on these kick returns. Matt, what do you think's up with that?
Michael Barnett was hurt earlier.
And there you go. That is our update of the week.
Brought to you
He's
by
going to take the ball.
Waffle House.
The ball does not cross the plane, even though his foot does, so he can bring the ball back. Otherwise, that would have been a touchback. But because even though his foot was in the end zone, Matt, and the ball did not cross the plane where the ref was standing, you can still return that ball.
So why did he not run it up the seam that was wide open there? I don't know if we can have a replay for you, but there was – so we don't have a replay for you, but there was a seam in the middle of the field, and there was a lot of blockers blocking out. Why did he just stop?
You know, the thing with – first off, he's wearing a visor, and this is why I don't –
You need
This is
windshield
why I
wipers
never
tonight.
wore a visor. Exactly, because when you get tackled on turf, the turf, especially wet, will scratch that plastic. So maybe it affected his vision and you can't see it. So they're going to bring player in motion. They're going to hand it off, and he's going to get about 3 to 4 yards.
That's number 10, Braxton Green, the sophomore.
Who we have not seen a whole lot of this season, so it looks like they're bringing some guys in, getting them some plays.
Still got Duggar in the backfield. Still got Michael Blandowski.
They're going to bring a trip set after the motion. Duggar's going to pick up the bad snap. He's looking to throw the comeback. Instead, he's going to take the ball himself, and he's going to get about a yard. Makes this 3rd and 6. This is not the game that you want for Catoosa.
No.
You do have Cleveland next week.
Yes.
You're going to have an 0-9 Cleveland versus a 1-8 Catoosa.
And it's not the battle of the win.
It is
like
not.
we thought it was going to be.
For a while, had anticipated that was going to be an 0-9 versus 0-9 matchup. Catoosa getting the upset win over Skytook. Catoosa in an empty set here. Shotgun trips to his left. Duggar's going to take the ball, throw just a quick little curl route to Tanner Casey. He's going to get speared out of bounds. That's going to bring up 4th down. And no, they're going to give him the 1st down. They're going to move the chains.
Nice. Okay, well, you know what? Taketh what you can and doeth what you will with it, because that's a 1st down in anybody's league.
Spoken like a true scholar.
Dude, I actually didn't even graduate from college. I've gone to 3 different colleges and still haven't graduated.
Hey.
But I make 3 figures a year. Just 3. It's like $100.
You never know. And that was I think that was a botched play by everybody, because the receiver that they brought in motion followed the guard through the B gap, and the tackle kicked out, and they had 3 people just waiting.
That he was brought down by number 42, Gavin Miller, a sophomore that we haven't really talked about a lot tonight. But there is something I want to, that's being pointed out to me. He's had 39 tackles on the year so far, and that's our first time to call his name tonight.
So far, Catoosa's been in shotgun on every snap this game. He has stood up and dumped over that big hit. They're going to lose about 10 yards, Matt.
It seems to be like the same old story, same old situation. Shout out Motley Crue. At the fourth quarter of every game, it's just a downhill slide, and not to a nice little waterbed. It's just horrible.
And this is going to be 3rd and forever. They're going to throw their favorite play, the middle screen. It's going to get about 3 or 4 yards. That play has gotten positive yards every time they've ran it, and I think it's because of how aggressive the defense is for Wagoner. So the thing for Wagoner, you're going to move to 6-3. You're going to go into next week on the road.
Wait. It's not just over yet now.
Catoosa will be hosting for their senior night next week against Cleveland.
Which will sadly be our final night.
We're going to get a punt. It spirals instead, and it is botched. He's just going to jump on it. And that punt was dropped to the ground
by Bo McFarland, the sophomore halfback and safety. I hope that's number 9. I don't know. My numbers are hard. I've been up since 4:30 this morning. Everything's kind of difficult for me at this moment.
Listen, the American Disabilities Act says I can't ask you what's wrong, so instead we're going to focus on Wagoner being in shotgun formation. They're going to have a tight end to the left, twins to the left. Looks like they've brought in everybody new. And there he goes. He's got some speed and some quick, silent feet. As he makes some defenders miss, he turns the corner.
Trenton Edwards,
the sophomore, 6 foot, 165 pounds, is a running back and a free safety.
If I had to guess, I would say that's Whit Edwards' younger brother.
Well, I'll tell you this. It's somebody who is definitely going to have a role for this offense in the next couple of years. The kid is very athletic. He's very fast, and it's effortless. He looks like he's running full speed without trying.
That's what it looks like when I take a PT test.
Shout out to the Army. Tight end to the right, twins to the right. They're going to hand it off to him again. He's going to make a cut. High steps and is brought down not before he gets 8 yards. So after this, it will be 2nd down and about 2 to 3 yards.
All right, so let's pretend. I mean, it's kind of obvious that Trenton is probably Whit's brother. Same last name, same build, a little bit shorter than his brother Whit.
Just about a foot.
Who do you think is faster? Because we've seen both of them kind of get an open seam. I think I'm gonna have to go with the younger brother Trenton.
It's a possibility. But
I'm gonna ask him to race at the end of the game.
And here we go. Wagoner's going to come out in one of their 15 different formations tonight. They're going to hand the ball off again. He's going to go to the right. And this is going to be brought down for a loss by number 52,
Gunnar
Wilson, who comes up limping. That's a tough kid. He is sponsored by Medicaid. He is just taped all over. Ankles, knee, wrist, elbow. He wears a shoulder brace.
I asked him why he wears so much stuff a few games ago when they sent me down to be the cameraman on the sideline, and he said it's because wrestling's more important. Wrestling is my priority. This is not, and I cannot be injured for wrestling. Lo and behold, the next week he wrestles in a national tournament.
Yeah, misses a game to go wrestle in a national tournament. We need to find out how he did. We did not get a word from his team. Management told us to reach out to his coach. So number 11, the sophomore, Tress Thornton in at quarterback, takes off on the play. So it's going to be 1st and goal. They're inside the 10. There will be no first downs. You're going to get 4 plays to score unless there's a penalty. Catoosa still has their starters in on defense. Wagoner brought in their second team. But let me tell you something. That Wagoner second team, they're fresh, and they're hungry. They want to go score. They want to put their name in the paper. So they're going to go for a touchdown here. He's going to hand the ball off. Oh, makes 2 men miss on some great cuts. And this is going to make this a 61-6 game. We are 2 points away from our senior director of our camera crew, Jay Hancock, who also has 9 fingers. He predicted this to be a 63-6 game.
Wow.
So if they go for 2 and get this, and we don't get any more points for the rest of the game, we're going to have to fire him because he's going to have a big head when we see him next week.
That's no joke.
And we've got our 19th kicker in tonight.
Oh, there's going to be a timeout called by.
We've got a flag. Well, he waved it, so we're going to see what's going on here.
And now, not only are we confused, but the
ref's confused. Coach Condit looks a little confused, which you don't see a whole lot. This lady in front of me, she's shaking her head. She's confused.
I think she just wants to go home. It's cold and rainy.
This guy's watching the game 4 rows in front of us on his phone. And he's only 6 rows high.
I think he's watching us.
He might be watching us. If he is, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
It's
it's a fake.
No,
don't score. A man miss, and he scores.
Oh, no. Jay Hancock
just
is
like
gonna
that.
be so
And
happy.
just like that,
Jay
our
Hancock.
senior director of camera crew, Jay Hancock, loses his job.
Just like that.
Wow. Takes it to the corner, makes 2-man miss. Now we've got to fire our best employee.
Who's ironically not here
Who's
today.
ironically not here. He called in sick or something.
Wow.
Nonetheless, we've got a pretty tight-knit crew. We like to joke around each other, but we are going to fire him. That one's not a joke.
Oh, no. He said 53-6. Oh, wait, maybe that was you.
Either way.
Catoosa
looking to score some points. Matt, do you think there is a moral victory here with Catoosa?
No.
Well, I've got an update for you. You think this is bad. Oologah, who's fighting for a playoff spot, who's still in the playoff contention, they are losing 70-0 the start of the 4th quarter.
Who is that, Oologah?
Oologah's losing to Cushing, 70-0. So, and that's insane. Miami's up 35-7 on Cleveland. Cleveland finally scored.
So you asked me, do I feel like this is a morale win for Catoosa? My answer
is there a chance for them to get a morale boost going into next week?
No. Oh, other than the fact that who they're playing. But it's hard to have any morale whenever that happens.
They luckily had that ball roll into the end zone. That thing looked like it was going to stop at the 2, and he was not going to pick it up.
Yeah. So what I was saying about the whole morale thing, going into next week playing Cleveland, I can see them having a little bit more morale. Do I think it's a morale win for this? No, because they only scored on a trick play.
By the way, the best trick play I've seen all year.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the best trick play I've seen all year.
Okay, you'll get some brownie points.
There you go.
Morale.
They've got the freshman in at quarterback who started 2 games this season.
That's our boy, the Brody,
who came in against number 1 ranked Verdigris, who had the number 3 overall prospect in the state at linebacker. Led him 75 yards for a touchdown drive, went 4 of 6 for 50 yards and a touchdown.
Dang.
The freshman coming in against the starting defense for Verdigris. Starts at Edison the next week, and that was a different story. So big 78 in at nose tackle, getting double teamed by Catoosa because you have to.
Hey, there ain't no quitting them, though.
Ain't no quit. And listen, that's a big defensive lineman.
Yeah, let's see here.
It's going to be tough for anybody to block him one-on-one.
He's a senior offensive defensive lineman, 6'3".
387 pounds. That's a big boy. Defensive lineman. Let's watch his first step. You can see he's going to spin over. Linebacker's going to blitz.
Look at him. No stop. He runs straight to the ball.
In this Wagoner defense, they only give up 6 points per game. They've given up 6 tonight. They average 35 points per game. They've scored 63.
Got just under a minute and a half left in the ball game. Brogan O'Neill. Oh, never mind. We're going to go into the punt formation.
They're going to punt. Nobody's returning it. Catoosa did have some success. They had the fake play for a touchdown. They ran the fake punt. Turnovers and penalties.
Same old story.
This is getting blocked. Almost. Hits a Wagoner player in the helmet, and he has to jump on. Now, ball's on the 35-yard line. They're sending new people in. I don't anticipate them needing this.
I don't either.
They're
but
huddled up like they're going to call a play.
Just going to warn you, we're probably going to have a lot of sound coming through this room here in a second.
Wham, bam,
chicken
thank
and
you,
ham.
Man, well, that works too.
I like that one better.
Shotgun set. Matt, I think they're going to throw this deep.
You know what? I think they're going to be mean and just knee it right here, even in the shotgun set. Oh God!
Oh, wow!
I'm going to the store and buying me a lottery ticket tonight.
Well, Wagoner on senior night gets the win, 63-6. Our cameraman Jay Hancock now loses his job. Ha ha.
Joke's on you.
Catoosa, next week, they will host Cushing, the Battle of the Basement. We will get 1-8 Catoosa, 0-9 Cleveland, and that will determine who gets last place and who gets second to last. However, if Catoosa wins, Skytook loses, Catoosa finishes 6th in their district and not 8th.
As opposed to, yeah.
So here we go, the players handshaking after the game. It's always nice to see. No fights. We're not going to get LeGarrette Blunt incident. That's no fun. Our cameraman Joe just walked in. He's wet because it's raining and water's wet.
Water, it's not wet, Carson. We've gone over this multiple times.
Either way you look at it, it changes the surface of dry and wet. And I'm making no sense. So regardless, Matt, takeaway from the game, what is the thing that stood out most to you?
Well, for Catoosa, one, the trick play actually works if you just, do it appropriately. Two, the defense is still strong. Granted, you're playing a Wagoner, or the Wagoner, not a Wagoner. You're playing Wagoner. Home field advantage. It's raining. I get it, but the defense stood out to me because they made it hard for Wagoner to even get anywhere near the first down in the first few plays. So every time that Wagoner was on or had the ball for the first possession, first down was always stopped. I don't think they got many many second and sevens or anything of that nature.
That's true. We're going to put on the
the
Cowboy hat. Shout out to Malcolm Rodriguez. I coached against him, and then he played quarterback.
There we go. That's much better. All right.
When I coached against him, they had Malcolm in at quarterback.
Yeah.
Biggest quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
Bigger than
got
bigger
a
than
combined
Blake Bell?
9 state championships between all the sports he's played.
Wow.
In high school alone.
I've only won one of those. Just joking.
I've not even been to any state title except for track.
No, I lied. I got runner-up my junior year in the state Tivy tournament. I don't know if you know what Tivy is.
Tivy. Well, listen, I've never been more proud to be a has-been, but I've never been a has-been at Tiffy.
Tivy. It's
not
a
taffy.
Calculus, geometry,
I'm no
and
longer talking to
trigonometry
you.
board game.
So we're going to look at Coach Dale Condit, who's talking to his team, and one thing that stood out to me, Matt, was the culture and the tradition here at Wagoner has not changed.
Yeah,
they have very high standards. They expect to win. These seniors now, when I was growing up playing against Wagoner, they were babies. And just to see from 2005 all the way to to now, they're ranked number 4 in the state, and their only losses were to number 1 ranked teams. That's just something to just be admirable about is they have a true culture. Unlike Catoosa, who is fighting to be in the playoffs this year after making the playoffs last year with a losing record.
Yeah. And I think Catoosa this year, they're missing a few key components from last year, but Catoosa this year, their heart's in it. It's just, the penalties and the turnovers that keep killing them every week over and over and over again.
Now we've got our camera facing us because Jay Hancock's been fired. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
On the scene. Matt, going into next week, Catoosa will host
Cleveland.
Almost
the
forgot
Cleveland
their name.
Indians. The Battle of the Indians. Aren't they Indians? The Cleveland Indians.
Not sure. I just know they're 0-9.
They're the Tigers? Oh, our producer's correcting me. My bad. I thought they were the Indians.
He is correct in that. But what is a something that you're excited to see next week on that?
I'm excited to see the guys come out, show out, and prove that they're not the losers of the division.
That's right. So one thing that I really like this week, and before we wrap it up, is I want to give a huge shout out to Joe Daddy Grits, our cameraman, who stood out in the rain. A huge thank you for that, Joe. For those who don't know, you were part of a kind of a tradition culture yourself at Tulsa East Central. You played with Stan Vaughn Taylor, played at OU, was a Gatorade Player of the Year, and let's go ahead and bring him in. Joe, we've got more fun facts. You actually play minor league football for the Oklahoma Hornets.
Yes, sir.
What was it that got you started in football as a kid?
Just the love for it. I grew up watching it. Just really the love for it, and can't really say too much about it. Love for football, man.
So with the tradition that you had at East Central and the culture there of winning games, you guys at one point I think had like a 56-game conference winning streak. And then the tradition and the culture that Wagoner has, what is the difference between that and Tulsa East Central when you were coming up through it?
Man, we was big, man. We was pretty tough. Wagoner, they've always had a good tradition. Wish we'd have got to play against them when I was in school. I mean, they
only
was
an
pretty
hour
good.
drive away from each other.
Yeah, they were pretty good. They was capable of playing against Jinx, Union, East Central, Booker T. So, it really miss high school football, really.
It's been a very short 10 years since you and I have graduated, but
yes.
We do want to say thank you for everyone who watched and puts up with us. I think Matt and I have realized now we're not going to get signed by ESPN. So I guess the only thing we have to look forward to now is Fox Sports. If you're watching, we are free agents. We want to thank you guys. Wagoner takes the win, a whole lot to almost nothing. And we're going to see you guys possibly next week at Catoosa. They host Cleveland for the Battle of the Basement.
Not Indians.
Cleveland. And so we want to say thank you guys, and we hope to see you next week.
Absolutely.
Ooh.